Alright, we're good.
Be like,
Bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys. Bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wonderful episode in the month of Spooktober of Bussin' with the Boys, episode 297. And as always, we are going to do a little panhandling here, and that is if you are joining us for the first time, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Leave a little comment too. We're going to have more comment fun in a little bit. If you just toss a little pumpkin down there in the spirit of Spooktober, go ahead and do that thing. Be a friend, tell a friend, get everybody on the show. Just by pressing the subscribe button, you make our lives a whole lot better. And now it's my turn to make your life a whole lot better by telling you about our presenting sponsor, the Chevy Silverado. There's a reason why we've never done a tier talk of the best trucks, and that's because for Bussin' with the Boys, there's only one pickup truck, the Chevy Silverado. Will, do you have a question to ask me?
Why is that?
Silverado is a partner you can depend on. We've all spent time driving and using a Silverado for all kinds of adventures and other shenanigans. Silverado was a partner with us on Spring Tour, and they are again during the Fall Tour. Silverado brings the grit too, and we're talking about legendary grit paired with a modern truck tech inside and out. Massive screens. They have 8 cameras and 14 different views to help making driving, towing, and parking all that much easier. The days of when real men had trucks, and only real men because they could park those boats, that's gone. Now every casual human being can go take a truck and feel comfortable with 14 different views, knowing that you are safe to seem like a man and feel like a man. We love the bold, blacked out look of the new Silverado HD Trail Boss. There's a reason why Chevy is America's most awarded brand for new vehicle quality over the last 3 years, according to JD Power. Do us a favor, head over to Chevy.com and build your Silverado or Silverado HD and check out all the current offers in Silverado. Discover a world of strength and capability all behind the wheel of our favorite truck, the Chevy Silverado. Chevrolet received the highest total number of awards compared to all other brands in the JD Power 2022 through 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Studies. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Awards based on 2022 to 2024 models. Now,
You took that ad read on a walk.
took it and fucking ran with it, kid.
We're going to have a Chevy Silverado guest on today.
Yeah, we got a big one. Do we want to say it early? I mean, I guess
so.
it's already out.
Yeah,
like people are going to see the trailer. And it's like,
Yeah.
so the
Conor Stalions.
right? Conor Stalions.
He's on a flight here right now.
As we're speaking, and the guy, you know where he was yesterday? Seattle, Washington,
Yeah.
because he went to the Michigan game.
Of course he did.
Flying to Chicago, was going to drive back up to Michigan, but instead is making a quick pit stop in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's going to fly back to Chicago today to drive back to I don't know if it's Ann Arbor, but Michigan. The guy's a stud, dude.
He's a one of a kind, and I am so excited.
Right.
I think this is his first like long form interview since everything, right?
Yeah.
And
here-
with the boys,
Do we want to tell him?
the couple ball players,
A couple ball players, a couple of
yeah,
guys.
some sign stealers on the field.
Yeah. Did you watch the documentary?
I didn't. I just saw clips.
So in the
I
documentary,
saw enough to know that he did whatever he could for his university, which you got to respect.
I'll let him speak on that. I'll absolutely let him speak on that. However he wants to word it. There is a part in the documentary where the student named Ohio is like another super fan of Ohio State, and he's like being interviewed with a mask on and glasses and a hat, and he's basically was one of the guys that was like infiltrating Michigan and finding all the articles and all the things to help take down Michigan during this thing. And you can just tell bro is salty as fuck about how much Conor got exposure. He's like, this guy, all he cares about is attention. All he cares about this. There's another guy, Tony something from Detroit Free Press. Tony, I don't know, but I looked him up after I watched the show, and the guy's like very negative anti-Michigan during the documentary. Guy graduated from Michigan State. So there's like it's just different. It's just different in the Big Ten, man.
Yeah.
That's not him. That's not him.
It's not somebody like, to me, the cat who said, what's his name? Brohio.
Brohio.
He's just doing it for attention. Like, it's not like Conor Stalions started this whole thing, the manifesto, and thought the end game was get a Netflix documentary.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The end game was a
Like,
national championship.
Yeah, he wanted to win.
Right. And it's incredible too. I mean, we'll obviously dive more into it with him, but at some point in that documentary, he's talking about how Michigan is about to get all these sanctions put on him. And he basically was like, I don't want anything to happen in Michigan. So he essentially told his lawyer, like, tell him it was all me. Tell him I did everything and let me fall on this grenade in a true Marine fashion.
Yeah. I can't wait. I want to learn about the details of the manifesto, how it grew over time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the dude he's a wizard. He's a wizard on the scouting reports.
And
you got to memorize a lot of shit. I want to know all of it.
And there is apparently some underground sign stealer group where more teams than not actually have this going on.
Yeah, ultimately, Conor Stalions is like the Lance Armstrong of sign stealing.
Yeah.
It's like you get popped, you get caught, all this stuff, and then you learn later on that everybody tries to do it. I mean, every team tries
Everybody
to
has
figure
tried
out
to
any
do it.
advantage possible to win.
And so it's such an interesting interview we're about to have because there's literally a pending investigation going on right now. So for him to be able to sit down with us and give us the information he is, like, it's wild. And so we'll just
He's
lean
for
on
the
him.
boys.
Yeah,
He's
he is
for the
the
boys.
boys.
Yeah.
And I got on the phone with him because for those of you that don't know, we're doing Bussin' With The Boys a little bit differently this year. We're keeping guests throughout the year as opposed to doing Zooms. So October 8th was one of those kind of glaring, we don't have a guest here.
Yeah.
Literally, what was it, Friday when I texted you or Saturday?
Yeah.
Friday I texted you, I was like, hey, I'm going to try to get Conor. I got on the phone with him and I was like, hey, I know this whole stuff's going on, but like,
How can we get you to Nashville on Monday?
right. And he's like, yeah, I'll come for sure. I was like, well, I got to make sure my lawyers get with it. I was like, just tell your lawyer to tell us what not to talk about.
Yeah.
That conversation with his lawyer still has not happened. He's still coming no matter what.
Because he's for the boys.
He's for the boys, dude. He really is. And it's interesting. He said he DM'd me a photo, I don't know, like a few months ago of when I was at Michigan. And it's a photo of me and him. And he's wearing like a Michigan flag, like one of those crazy Michigan fan things. And this is when he was like 15, 16 years old.
He came out of the womb ready to be a Michigan Wolverine.
Ready. And if you see, like literally for Halloween one year, he was a Michigan coach. That's like, he is 100%.
Was this one Harbaugh?
No,
I'm assuming he was doing Halloween still, like dressing up as a Michigan coach, like in his 20s, however old he is.
Maybe. No kids just dressing
How
up for
old
Halloween.
is he?
He is, I think he was born in 95. So he's 4 years younger than me. He's 29.
Okay.
29.
Too bad he couldn't help the boys out on Saturday.
I know.
I tell you what. I look around the bus. Everybody's team kind of lost. Like, yeah, Mitch, I guess he's an Ohio State fan. Sherm, what'd you go on the weekend? 1-5?
2-5.
2-5. Yeah. He's claiming the Texas Longhorns now. He's like, my wife went there. So I'm like, okay.
That is crazy.
He's hook 'em. He's hook 'em all day. I don't know. How are you a fan of?
We can't give him that one.
I love their jerseys.
Yeah.
We can't give you West Virginia, bro.
I was watching when Pat White was there.
Everybody watched
everybody was watching
when Pat White was
Noel
there.
Devine,
Steve
Pat
Slayton.
White.
Dang, you played the video game with them?
Oh yeah, all the time. So
He's
I'd
like
consider myself a
Pat
fan.
McAfee.
Oh yeah, Pat McAfee.
We're all West Virginia fans, apparently.
Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Went
yeah.
2-5.
But go ahead, Will. Talk about how we're all losers and you're not.
I know. Nebraska did win, and I'm excited about that. I did hate seeing everybody's team lose. It's kind of like a weird. I'm used to feeling like the loser of the entire group, and it's like I'm the JP as well. I didn't want to just throw a random stray at you. Like South Carolina's they've been in the dumps for a while as well. But yeah, it does. It feels good to unseat an undefeated Rutgers team. We played our worst football, not defense.
Yes,
Defense played incredible, but we had 2 blocked punts.
Which
2 blocked punts. Can't have that, number one. But we had 2 blocked punts. It was Rayola's probably worst game of his season so far. And the boys, the black shirts, showed up in incredible fashion. We did. We eked out our win. I hated that Rule didn't try to at least drive. They were in enemy territory and at least get a field goal to cover. It was ultimately a push because I got them at -7. I know some people got them at -6.5. Should have paid for that little, what do they call it, a hook? Should have paid for the hook.
Yep.
But yeah, it does. It feels good. It feels good to be a winner, the sole winner on the bus. I hate it for everybody else. And to lose in the fashion, Vanderbilt. We're talking what? Music City Miracle 2.0. That was insane that Vandy, should we start there? Vandy upsetting Alabama? Because again, we're on a bye week. We're back. We're 4-1, 5-1. We're on a bye week. We go to Indiana. That's going to be a very tough game for us because Indiana's a good team. But we have a bye this week. But if I can start deflecting and get it off of myself, the spotlight off of myself, and we can talk about this young man right here. What's
Pavia.
Pavia?
Yeah, the kid came from, I believe, New Mexico State last year. And just this guy is every bit of a psycho. And I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Literally, there was a news article that came out where they were playing one of their rivals at New Mexico State. Might be New Mexico. Who knows? I don't follow them. But apparently in the middle of the night on an away game, went to their 50-yard line and pissed on their field. Like that's the kind of operation this kid's dealing with. Like this kid, and I'm not taking a shot. Like he's not an NFL guy, right? Like we're not looking at him as like a first round pick type of guy. Just a true college legend.
Yeah, just a football player who saw Alabama and there's no fear in his mind. He
no
wanted
fear
to play against.
Like he was going to go out. There was a couple of plays in that game where he goes, runs the sideline, 3 or 4 yard gain, gets hit out of bounds, slips and falls, gets up. He's right in the DB's face, losing his fucking mind about it. Now, he's not like a throw it down the field type of guy. Who is the head coach for Vandy? Oh, it doesn't matter. Whoever the OC is. The creativity they have on offense is incredible. There's one play in particular. Clark Lee. Shout out Clark Lee, because they had early in the game they did a your classic option pitch play, and they caught the edge and they ended up getting a bigger gain on that, which was like 12, 15 yards. Later in the game, when it counted the most, I believe it was the end of the third quarter. They're in they're trying to obviously take all the clock they possibly can. They go and they showed the same option, but they turn it into a shovel pass. So you have the whole defense going east and west, and as he's about to pitch it, throws it the other way. Kid takes it and has an explosive play there. So they're utilizing this kid's creativity, because you saw it against Virginia Tech when the game's literally on the line. He's like running, and he just decides to throw it to the side. Yeah, just doing
he's
crazy
either running
shit.
Or just dishing it off to the check down.
And these Vanderbilt boys, man,
they were
these
right.
band of fucking misfits. These outliers in the SEC, where Nick Saban has literally gone on record, everywhere in the SEC is hard to play at except for Vanderbilt. Just drugged through the mud 24/7, treated like shit, and they're in an amazing city where they don't have a whole lot of recruits. They have guys that just decide, hey, I'm not good enough here, so I'm going to go to Vanderbilt and still play in the SEC.
To go to Vanderbilt.
I'm smart enough to go to Vanderbilt. These fucking kids just unseated the 1 seed, and I keep catching eyes with G, and G's our Alabama fan. In no way am I trying to take away from you or any of this, because we've done that last year, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just like, I'm excited for Vanderbilt, man. Like they just did a historical thing that they've never done at that school.
It will be etched.
They told us in June. We did a Duke Cannon promotion with them, and they're like, bro, they're sleeping on us.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
they were like,
that's what they all say, kid. Like, I'm like, all right, boys,
he said,
good
no,
job.
we're going to shock the world this year.
Yes. You had these white offensive linemen, and they are talking way different. And I'm like, you don't need to talk like that. I'm thinking to myself, these dudes are out of their fucking minds.
But they pulled it off, man.
And they pulled it off, and it started with Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And now they got 3 wins. They've already beat their win total that Vegas said for the year.
Yeah. First time in school history, program history, defeating the 1 seed. First time they beat Alabama since September of 1984.
Insane.
And that was in Tuscaloosa. When's the last time they beat Alabama at home?
Like the 20s?
The 1920s.
Just before the Depression.
Shit, the game was filmed in black and white the last time that shit happened.
That is crazy.
Legit,
man.
one of the biggest upsets in college football history, yeah?
Yeah.
So I guess my question,
maybe the biggest. Is that the biggest?
It's
Probably App State, Michigan.
Was Michigan 1 though? I don't know if Michigan was.
no, we were
ranked
like
number
10
1.
though. We were 10. They were a 1AA school.
Right. But
App State kind of has a little resume of doing that to people.
Yeah.
And they're solid now.
Yeah, they're solid, and I think they are D1 now.
They are.
But still, like, and to go even more like shitting on Michigan, like Vanderbilt is still in the SEC. It's still a conference game. They still play these teams every single year. It's just wild, man. The question I have for the chat is, who is a more famous Vanderbilt quarterback, Pavia or Jay Cutler at this point?
I think you got to go Pavia.
You
now.
might have to go Pavia. This kid might have a fucking statue. It might be made out of, foam.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Vanderbilt's budget looks
They got
like.
some money. They got some money.
They got some money. But I'm just saying, bro, this kid might be the most famous player ever in Vanderbilt history at this point.
Jay Cutler will have like the more decorated career because obviously he was a first round pick NFL and everything else. But as far as like etched in stone forever, Pavia is going to be the guy.
The guy.
Because they're gonna build their recruiting around that. It's
Yeah.
like something that's like, what was it like the night where 2 goalposts marched down through Broadway
Multiple miles.
into the river?
Right. Like Jack, Tennessee, when y'all beat Alabama and you guys started the goalpost thing.
Yeah.
How far is the goalpost from Neyland Stadium to the river?
Oh, it's right next door.
Next door.
But we took it to the Strip, which is about 1.5 miles.
Okay,
and then
so
back.
there's a lot of
But
effort both ways.
The fact that they took it from Vanderbilt Stadium to the Cumberland, I think it's like 3.1 miles, and then they broke through the police barricade on Broadway. That shows grit.
It
Like,
shows
that,
grit.
that shows crazy grit.
You think of Vandy and you think nerds. Unfortunately, that's just the case.
Right.
Those kids changed the narrative this weekend. They might be nerds, but they got fucking heart.
Yeah, they got grit. They're gritty nerds.
They have
maybe the most dangerous kind of human.
They have a core memory forever.
Look at this kid on the goalpost. That's your profile picture the rest of your life.
You see that kid in the far
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
in the Tennessee.
Still with the
He's
Tennessee.
like, fuck yeah, Bama lost. We're still undefeated.
Yeah.
And then he went to Broadway and got his heart broken.
God.
And also shout out the city too for even though they went through the cop bear and everything else, like the police just like, hey, they're
This doesn't happen
experiencing
a
the
lot.
greatest moment this university has ever seen.
Yeah.
Let them take it there. And then I
What
want
a
to say I was
time.
listening to Josh Pate, shout out the boy, but he was saying how when he was coming back, he saw like a rescue mission to get the goalposts out of the water at like, in the middle of the night, obviously. Yeah, the
There's
fire
a lot of
department,
boat
rescue
traffic
mission.
that goes through there. So that goalpost, it was floating for a good sec. If that catches someone's prop, like it's going to break your
Yeah,
boat.
that boat, they're literally sinking ships. Little mini Titanics everywhere through that Cumberland River.
Just that's one piece of the insane weekend that college football had. Alabama lost, Tennessee lost to Arkansas, Michigan lost, USC lost, Mizzou got
Called
embarrassed
USC, by the way.
by A&M. Rutgers undefeated lost.
I'll say this, dude. When we were doing the locker room and I was looking through all the slate of college football,
Yeah,
I kind of thought to myself, this is like maybe the most boring week of college football.
I think everybody felt that way.
And
And
it
turned
was
out to
the
just
best.
be
I mean, it
fireworks.
wasn't the best. Michigan lost, but like
That was
upsets.
Michigan lost, but that was an incredible game to watch as well.
Not really.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I know
We
your
had
heart was getting broken.
Turnovers. We spotted them 14 early. Listen, it is tough when you're the 10th ranked team in the country and you go to the Pacific Northwest to play a team that's unranked and you're underdogs by 2.5 points.
No, it
Like-
seemed like what's the quarterback's name? Tuttle.
Tuttle.
Seemed like he had
Tuttle
a
the
little bit of
Turtle,
life.
dude.
Seemed like he had a little bit of
Yeah,
life
he
until
did.
he
He
just
got-
started throwing the
yeah.
ball to the other team.
Well, yep. And the thing is, here's what gives me optimism about the rest of the season.
Okay.
With Orgy, a fantastic athlete, looks like a guy you would create on NCAA 14. Like he's got the look, he's got everything, but
It's
like,
like, we kind of got a Milrow, but he's completely not.
yeah, but he's not pushing the ball down the field. Now you look at this Tuttle kid, right? Looks like he got into Vanderbilt on a full ride academic scholarship, no doubt about it. But he comes in and his numbers weren't like incredible. However, at one point he was like 7 for 9 for like 85 yards, and it's like, okay, we're able to throw the ball a little bit to where the defense has to play us a little more honest. You see Donovan Edwards kind of get a spark going. You saw Mullings get a little spark going.
Loveland.
What Loveland gets, and then listen. He tries to go up in the pocket in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left in the game. They hit the ball out. There's a turnover. He throws a pick later. Like all those things are very frustrating, and it is a big reason why we lost the game. But we have good receivers. We have possibly the greatest tight end in all of college football right now, and we have a guy that can, even though he's not the best, he can get the ball to them. Which allows us to strengthen our run game. It just, even though our offense is not that much better, it is better.
You can execute the forward pass a little bit.
We can
more.
execute, we can officially turn on forward pass in our offense. And that's gives me hope. Because the defense, not their best day.
Which
the
is
first
crazy.
two drives.
I mean, you got
know.
2 first rounders on defense.
3 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that Grant kid, 55, Graham, and then Will Johnson.
And that linebacker number 15, he's a
Right.
good player.
And then, bro, what I tell you about 0? 3rd and 8. which I know you love zero on 3rd and 8 with the game on the line. Will Johnson gets a DPI. And it's just like, there goes, that's the game. It's over. It's done. And I don't love how much we blitz. I don't. I know that's Wink's thing. That's not Will Johnson. He plays for the Washington Commanders now. I don't love how much they blitz. I wish they would just play their man, play their zone, throw in a couple blitzes here and there to keep them honest.
Just rush 4.
You have the talent. You have the talent to get to the quarterback with 4, and you have guys that can cover all around.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know it's tough.
It's frustrating, but I do weirdly, like, after that game, I'm like, okay, like our offense has added the throwing portion. We're halfway through the year, and now we can throw the ball a little bit. I don't give a shit if it's checkdowns, brother. We can fucking do it now.
I did watch your video, and you're talking about what was the record going into Ohio State?
9-2.
I feel like you're sleeping on some clubs now.
I know, but listen, and I saw your tweet. Let's focus on one game at a time. I get it.
I'm just trying to help you out.
I know, Will. And trust me, I'll get there eventually. Like, I know to me, this is picture perfect. I'm up here, and you're like, hey, maybe you should be down here for a little bit. I'm like, no, fuck that. I got to stay up here. Eventually, I'm going to end up where you are telling me to be, but not right now.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm just saying I have.
Because Illinois is tough.
It's a tough ball club. Michigan State, dude. It's not a gimme.
I mean, Illinois is probably going to be
We had
favored.
Oregon November 2nd, which I might be taking win to.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be fun. What's that?
Michigan State looked like garbage against Oregon.
Yeah, but Michigan State is garbage, bro. G didn't have the mic. He said Michigan State looked trash against Oregon. Yeah, Michigan State is fucking garbage. But I'm just saying, dude, we've got a chance. We've got a puncher's chance. We got a chance.
Who, with the way college football kind of ended up over the weekend, who do we think is the favorite now in the SEC outside of Texas?
It's hard to say it's not Vandy. Right?
They might be a top 10 team.
Who?
Vandy's going big game hunting.
Yeah, dude, they are. African safari, dude.
Yeah.
Cool hats, 50 caliber rifles, and they just took down a big bull. A big dog.
I think you would think it would be. It's still the same 3 teams, probably Alabama,
Texas, and Georgia.
Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, because it was a brutal loss. But I personally have been high on Arkansas all year. Sam Pittman, he's got it together. Bobby Petrino is so elite, and I feel like it was never that big of news that he went back to Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing this. I think this is his first year back with them. And he's already got them rolling. And it's like, Arkansas next year, I think is going to be a problem.
Are they a young team, I guess?
Yeah, young as far as young in their culture. Because they got an athletic quarterback right now, but he makes so many mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taylor Green. Taylor Green. Because he transferred.
Shout out Taylor, dude.
Yeah. But so I don't think that's like a horrible loss for Tennessee, and ultimately it's probably going to come down to Alabama, Tennessee in a couple weeks, barring South Carolina somehow takes down a pissed off Alabama team next weekend.
What happened with South Carolina, man?
Similar to Michigan, we spot them 14 points in like 3 minutes. The crowd was out of it immediately. The defense played fine after those 14 points. We just gave them a short field so many times.
Yeah, can we talk about Dylan Stewart just unloading
the clip? And did you see Jackson Dart's chirp back?
No, what did he say?
He said, how you fire 100 rounds and not hit once.
Oh my God.
Quoted Young Dolph. How the fuck you miss a whole 100 shots?
What's up with these kids doing the gun celebrations?
DMV, dog.
Hey, but legit though, there was another one where I want to say somebody like lifted their shirt up like they had one strapped to him. Like I don't feel like that was happening when we were playing.
Show your age, Will.
But I'm saying,
I'm with you, but
it's definitely like a this year thing.
Yeah,
because
I
think
crazy.
One of the receivers. Yeah,
well, I think it did. There was in the NFL.
Yeah,
one player did in the NFL and he got flagged. I think it was for the Packers.
Yeah,
someone got flagged.
Pointed for a first down and got flagged.
Yeah.
No, one dude was like on the sideline.
Personally, I loved it. I was watching it happen and I was standing up.
Yeah, keep fighting.
I saw him pull the trigger and I turned around. I saw the flag And these Ole Miss fans were behind me. I said, that was sick, though. I mean, Dylan Stewart did go crazy. 4 tackles for a loss and a sack. So he did his thing. But the offense, we have no identity, which falls on one person. And it's not a player, and it's not our head coach, and it's not our DC. You can connect the dots on who's
Quarterback
left.
coach.
Yeah.
The
Overall,
OC?
fun weekend, though. Yeah.
Another bad OC.
Because it seems like the OC at you guys used to have is doing all right in Lincoln.
They demoted him.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's not the y'all's OC.
Rule calls it, right?
I think y'all have another guy.
I think Satterfield.
Satterfield is a quarterback's coach.
Yeah, but he's also like a.
He's not calling plays.
I think he is.
I'd be willing to put some money on this one.
Look it up.
Actually, the way y'all played the last 2 weeks on offense, maybe.
No, we just Dylan. He missed a couple throws, but
He's a rookie.
you can't have 2 block punts.
Hey, do you see Dylan's brother?
You can't have 2 block punts.
Hey, you see Dylan's brother?
Yeah,
He's committed to Nebraska.
committed to Nebraska. Looks like Jackson Mahomes. I see all the headlines. But we got a ball.
But through
We got a little brother. That's
I
a ball-
mean, dog,
we
he
got a
looks
little-
exactly like
We
him.
got a little brother that's a ball player. No broken wrist stuff over here. We got a family of athletes coming into the NFL.
Bro, Nebraska might be nice for the next 6 years.
Could be. I don't know. I did see.
Hey, that's Rayola.
Yeah. I saw he threw a bomb in his high school game.
Yes, dude, that was
Looked
a beautiful
gorgeous.
lefty too.
Yeah.
Will, you are right, by the way. He's a tight ends coach and the OC.
Yeah.
And then it looks like Glenn Thomas is co-offensive coordinator.
Right. I do. I think it's a OC by committee type of deal.
I feel like that's always a tough gig.
What?
The committee thing,
Yeah.
whether it's coaches or players, I don't like it. I don't like it. The only place that works is running backs.
Running back. Yeah. Running back by committee.
Yeah, this kid. What's Dylan's brother's name?
Yeah.
What?
Dayton.
Dayton. Dylan and Dayton. Okay,
Dayton Raiola.
that's exciting. Yeah.
Jack, how are you feeling after Tennessee dropped the one against Arkansas?
It's tough, man. You know, you just have these high expectations and you don't think you're going to drop one to an unranked SEC opponent. Luckily, it's a West team, but still, they controlled the ball the whole game. Even though it was only 3-0 at half. And then we were up 14-3. And then I think our last 5 series, we got shut out. And then I think it was the first time we saw Nico make a young quarterback error. The very last play of the game, it's 4th and 8 or something.
Yeah.
Time expires and he runs it. It's like, who cares if you even throw it and they pick it off? It's game over regardless. So that seemed like the first kind of, all right, he's young and still trying to learn what these big play moments can be. So that I think that is probably where a lot of our fan base saw like, he's maybe not quite the elite quarterback that we want him to be at this moment. I still think he's an unbelievable talent and will continue to learn. And I'm sure he was just as upset as anybody else would have been. But yeah, it's tough. I thought for once, because the Titans had the bye week, I was like, I'm going to have stress-free football weekend. And I have this theory, whenever the Titans win, the Vols will lose, and vice versa. When the Vols win, the Titans lose. And I forgot Titans played on that Monday night game, and what they do, they won. So I should have known that the Vols were going to come back and fuck my shit up all weekend. I didn't watch one snap of NFL football yesterday. I watched 3 movies in my room by myself. Kind of got back to the basics.
Back to the basics.
And it was great.
Did you watch anything spooky?
Yeah, but not like a traditional. I forget this. What was the thriller that I
Just
watched?
threw on the Arkansas-Tennessee game.
Yeah, that would have been the spook. Would just be watching the replay of that. But we've got a big game coming up this weekend. Florida comes to Knoxville, and even though Florida is
2 like rivalry weeks in a row for you guys.
Yeah,
Florida,
well, I mean
then Bama.
Arkansas. Oh yeah. You're saying starting this week? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Florida's been abysmal this year. But when it comes to rivalry, you throw everything out the window.
Throw
It
them out the
does
window.
not
You're
matter.
absolutely right.
And Florida, they have the opportunity to end our season before we even get to Alabama, and I know that would be like them getting like their season, that would be a full win for them. It doesn't matter if they don't win another regular season
ruining
game.
your season.
By ruining our season. We opened up as a 20.5 point favorite last week, which scares me. I do think we can handle it because historically the Vols are so bad in the swamp, but it's a different story typically when they come to Knoxville. So it's a 7 p.m. game again. We have yet to have a game we had night games every single game this year. So I don't know.
wild.
And we are a franchise that's been noon games. My first 2 years at Tennessee, I think we had one night game for the first 2 years I was there. So it was always noon kickoff. So I'm a little nervous, but it's always fun. Florida and Tennessee is such a fun matchup, and it's really gritty, hard-nosed football. But if we drop that game, yeah, next week I'll be really sad.
You want to hear my theory?
Yeah.
The curse of you not buying back in with the
Dude,
Titans.
fuck
Hang on, time out.
That doesn't have anything to do with college football.
The trees are whispering that the curse has leaked over into college football.
No,
that Jack
don't do
McPherson
this.
controls a little bit of what's happening.
I want you to admit that you want me dead. You want me to kill myself. I just want you to say it.
I don't.
just
Maybe,
want you to
maybe
say
this.
it.
Maybe this. We obviously don't want you to kill yourself.
Yeah, I don't.
But you
I
said
don't- I don't actually
you
want
said
to.
you would kill yourself, and Malik Willis.
And that was
beat you guys.
hilarious in the moment. And then when it came real, the chickens came home to roost. It was kind of like, hey, we'd like for you to not kill yourself.
What
but
do you want me to do?
You should
You want me
probably
to
do
cut
something,
myself,
bro.
like get close to death, like get like
take it
brush
back
the line?
Take it back to middle school.
Oh, horizontal cuts. Yeah.
If we post
Maybe,
more
maybe
clips
we just have
about,
a quick brainstorm. Brainstorm of what you could do to get the juju
I'm
off
just
you.
gonna say, if we keep posting clips about suicide, eventually people will not think it's funny.
No, I understand that.
But until then, we'll keep doing it.
Jack, what's going to happen if you guys lose to Florida this week?
I mean,
You got to at least think about it. Like, okay, I gotta pay the gods something.
Maybe.
If you lose to Florida this week, you should shave your stash and head.
I'm not gonna do both. I would do the mustache.
Whoa, really?
What?
If you lose to Florida this week, shave your head.
No, I'm
Come
not
on.
shaving my head.
No, hey, we're not talking about if they lose to somebody. He's got to right or wrong now. So Jackson,
I agree. I don't want the curse to live. I hate living in this world. I truly do.
yeah, we.
I don't want you guys to
everybody-
lose. I want you guys to win this week. Who's Alabama play?
Us.
Suck. I would like for it to be one-loss teams when we go to Tennessee.
Maybe we tie.
I'll shave my head if we die.
Up.
But Jack, all I'm saying is
Whoa.
I don't want. I just don't want the curse to leak in.
Yeah, neither do I.
What
I don't
can
know
we do?
how we've swapped from NFL to college. I feel like there's got to be a line in the sand. Like I was prepared for the Titans to just be horrible because of me, because I had the Vols.
And then
It
they
was the
won, and
Vols'
you're like,
fault.
okay, maybe that stuff isn't real. And then it leaked over into your actual
this goes
favorite
into my
team.
theory where the Tennessee Vols and the Titans can't win on the same weekend ever. I
Okay,
feel like.
all right.
So what?
I'm just raising the
Just so we
question.
can put this to bed, what is it going to be? Because I'm willing to do something. I don't know if I want to shave my head if we lose. I would shave my mustache.
Jack has to buy.
How about this? We'll let people leave comments on what Jack should do this week,
He has to buy you a Chevy. Rough shit.
Yeah.
and maybe we take.
All right.
We'll choose out of the 2 most liked ones.
Okay. Drop the comments,
All right.
and none can involve me killing myself. So.
Yeah. We do it.
let's-
That's off the table. Like we
Yeah,
can put that
death-
one. The
death
rest.
is
We
off
don't-
the
we don't
table.
want- You're
It's
the one who
much
said
fair.
that, but we do want that one off.
Sorry,
the table.
guys.
If we lose to Florida, that will.
No.
I'm not.
Stay the night with Jack next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a call if we lose to Florida. Yeah. I don't know where we go from here.
Where
Let-
do we go from here?
Where?
Yeah. Should we go to the? Should we read it? Should we read
Yeah, I
an
don't know
ad?
much
Should we
about
do an ad read?
Let's do an ad.
Sherm?
Get us out of here.
Well,
Body
talk
armor.
to us about body armor.
Yeah,
James.
Body Armor. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sport Water, the alkaline water that provides real hydration with electrolytes for taste. Everybody's always drinking it around the office, around the shop. The sports drink, the zero sugar, and even the Flash IV after a long weekend, Jack. We can't get enough of Body Armor. The sport water, in my opinion, is the best sport water on the market. Head on over to your local 7-Eleven and get your Body Armor Sport Water today. Stay hydrated this weekend, Jack. Hey, JP, when you go over to his house to make sure he doesn't do anything so he doesn't harm himself, bring flash IVs. We'll get him right.
Got you.
NFL. First game of the year played in London.
Yes. Vikings, bro. I've been on the Vikings for a few weeks now.
You have.
It was like the Niners game. What was that, week 2, week 3?
Yeah.
But the Vikings are for real, man.
I know. And the cool thing is obviously everyone's been talking about Sam Darnold and how he's been able to throw it all over the yard. But this is the week, like they came out and they scored fairly quickly and went up on the Jets big time. But after that, the offense was kind of non-existent. The Jets really started to figure themselves out. That defense is unreal. Right? And Baldy, you ever watch his clips? He's always breaking down offensive line clips. He showed the New York Jets doing a basic open side inside zone play. And there's a Baker blitz, which for those of you listening, Baker is when the linebacker will go through the B gap. You hear Baker, I believe it's Axe for A gap.
Yeah, they'll change up wordings. But if it starts with the B, you're thinking
you're going through. So basically what happens in that situation is the 2 D tackles will slant away from the blitz, and just watching the Jets offensive line do a horrible job of picking that up. The left guard buries his face into the defensive tackle and doesn't get out of it, and then they just get a TFL. The Minnesota Vikings are playing on all cylinders right now. They are crushing.
In that pick 6.
Impressive.
Right? Just dropping out last second. Now, going into that too, like Flores, I think he's only played against Aaron once, and he's 0-1 against Aaron, but he's always got something dialed up, man.
Right. And Aaron, obviously when you're watching the TV copy, you hear the commentators are talking, hey, Aaron, he's going to be 41 in a couple of months. Like, this is kind of what he is now. He can't get away as much as possible. He rolls his ankle during the game. And so it's like.
And when you have bad O-line play, man.
Bad O-line play is terrible. O-line coach.
That's Keith?
Still
Keith Carter.
I know. My Twitter's I got some people commenting. We don't have to go any further than what Taylor Lewan has said already.
Yeah, like it's been out there for quite a minute.
And the players.
Yeah, and you're missing like your best. I mean, I don't know the roster from top to bottom, but arguably your best whole lineman in Morgan Moses, he's been out.
Yeah, Tyron Smith is their left tackle.
Aged, long in the tooth.
Yeah, has a history of injuries, but still like a Hall of Fame tackle. They've just got to figure out a way to just block as a unit. It's always just one guy. And that one clip I talked about with Baldy, it's like the left guard needs to know when you're singling to that backer that runs through the B gap, once you see the defense tackle, you need to plant off that right leg and know that something's coming. Something is coming that you're going to have to block. So it's a reaction thing. You can't be burying your face in blocks like that.
I love when you talk O-line to me, dude.
You like that?
Yeah, and I love the Baldy breakdowns. Like the Baldy breakdowns it's where you want to close the curtains, get out the lotion,
and just get excited about inside
because
ball.
He just loves football.
I know. And the thing too is like the play he was showing, it's like the most basic. You run that play in high school.
Mm-hmm.
There's not motions. There's not a bunch of gadgets going on around it. It's truly like, it literally would be called 14 Wanda or 15 Wanda. It's a left side play. It's open side. You have your basic blocking schemes. You can only run it versus certain numbers. You have the box. You have the look. The safeties are far away. You don't have too many guys. It's a count game. And so center and guard are going to go with that front side backer. And then they had a 2-eye and then a head up 6 technique on the tight end, or I'm sorry, a 5 technique.
And when Taylor's talking 2-eye, you're talking inside shade of the guard,
inside shade of the
tackle.
Guard. So in that situation, the hard block is for the tackle on the opposite side, the right tackle, because he's in a C block to the other backer who's not blitzing. Once he sees that defensive end go away, he now needs to find himself into the B gap to help the guard to get up to that linebacker. So it's a reaction game. And sometimes people love speed off the ball. People love like a low pad level and all those things with offensive line. But in those type of situations, like you need to have a reaction step and then figure out where you're going and then put some power behind it. But it's just, they're burying their face. It feels like you're just grabbing the soap a little too hard, grabbing the bird a little too hard. You're going to kill the bird.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. That is not the blitz. I
love how you brought up scrape exchange though.
Yeah. Scrape exchange, which is also a very, that's a nice basic blitz to stop the run.
Look at him trying to find
Yeah. I mean, that is essentially the play. No, it's not the play because that's a
It's like
That's
yeah.
a 3-4. So it's different, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, long story short,
Vikings look great.
Vikings look good. Vikings look good, and
contender.
Jets are having a hard time with their blocking concepts on simple things, which is tough. And I don't blame the players.
It doesn't look good for the Jets this season.
Dude, quick, Stephon Gilmore, he had that pick at the end of the game. He's had an interception on Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning.
I mean, yeah,
34 years old.
Stephon Gilmore is
That's awesome.
one of the best corners to do it.
I feel like he's kind of like gone away a little bit too. Like he had,
Yeah, because he was like
yeah,
Panthers, Cowboys,
kind
now
of jumping
Vikings
all over the place because he had the
He was a defensive player of the year in New
for the
England.
Colts, right?
for the Patriots.
For the Patriots, right? Then he went to the Colts from there.
Yeah.
Then he was the Panthers. Then it was all over the place.
Yeah.
So he had a couple of years in hiding, and now he's still showing up, showing that he's him. I
Pretty
love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
McKinney for the Packers has 5 interceptions in 5 games. Yeah.
That's crazy. Could you imagine,
Another contender in the NFC, the Commanders, bro.
bro? You called it.
They look good.
When are they
man.
going to figure out Jaden Daniels?
I mean,
They had them sort of figured out.
yeah, defense played a good game. Now, if you bring up their schedule, they haven't like played anybody that tough yet. So it'll
It's
be
the
interesting.
league, man.
I know
It's
it
the
is,
league.
yeah. But all I was gonna say to that is even when you're playing these teams now, Bengals arguably in the dumps, the Browns.
with Burrow throwing 5 touchdowns.
I know.
And they're 1-4.
But I'm saying at that time where they kind of squeaked out a win at Cincy, and then they go and demolish the Cardinals. They demolish the Browns. Like they're handling teams that are perceived to be not that good this year. They're handling their business. So even if you want to chalk it up to, hey, they kind of have a weak schedule right now, which again, it is the National Football League. Anything can happen. But man, you got a rookie quarterback that's dialed in like that and firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
You're kind of the question, I guess, is like, when's he going to hit the rookie wall? Because he's having like a career year in his first year in the league.
It's crazy.
It really is.
Yeah.
And everybody in the district right now I know is fired the fuck up. Massive game this weekend against the Ravens. The Ravens had a dicey one against the Bengals over the weekend. Joe Burrow, he threw for five tutties.
Bro, we got to get
Or Lamar. I mean, Lamar, you saw that play at the end of the game with Lamar where he's escaping and threw that tutty?
He should have lost in the game.
I know that. Yeah. That fumble that he had.
What play is this? Can I see that play?
Which one? The fumble?
Yeah.
They were in OT, and they were. I always say driving. They had the ball. They're driving, and Lamar has a mistake, fumbles the ball. Bengals get it in Ravens territory. They can't really move it. They're trying to run the ball a little bit. They miss a field goal.
Bad snap.
Yeah, bad snap. Miss a field goal. This one right here. Bad snap to Lamar. Lamar ends up fumbling it. Just brutal. No, my fault. Bad exchange. He kind of takes his eyes to the defense right before, for whatever reason, loses focus, drops the ball. Bengals get it in enemy territory. It's like, it almost seems like McPherson, like he's going to be able to knock this one in, no problem. They have a bad center holder exchange for the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
They miss the field goal, and freaking Derek busts off. How long was that run? Like a
Yeah.
57-yarder, bro.
Still got it, man.
Yeah.
Still fucking
King.
got it.
The King got 100
10,000 yards.
10,000 yards and
Let's do a round of
100
applause for Derrick Henry.
10,000 yards and 100 touchdowns.
Miss
Like I want to
you,
say he's
miss
7th
you.
on the all-time list right now
In 125 games.
in 125 games. Like he's a legend. Bro.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
He was before the season started.
Yeah. But now you kind of cement it, like when you're hitting the things like the milestones, like 10,000 yards, 100 touchdowns, and he's looking the way he does with these big runs and kind of pulling away from guys.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. It's
it's
awesome to see Derek having success with the Ravens.
It is, man. And you just want him to just keep it going for as long as possible. Can he
Yeah.
get 11,000? How many guys have 11,000 yards?
Probably like 4 or 5.
Only
people. Two people.
4 or 5. Sorry. 4 or 5.
Okay, 4 or 5. Okay, Sherman is now switched up to 4 or 5. It's just awesome to see, man. And to see his success, I did not think it would come this quick
Yeah.
with the Ravens. I thought they were going to have a more difficult time figuring out a way for him to.
There's 21 guys with 11,000.
Okay, there's 21 guys with 11,000 yards.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Did you see Stephon Diggs give the side eye to Josh Allen after the game?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know. Freeze frame.
There's a part of me too that thinks people are really looking into it. I think they don't have like the greatest relationship, and they just kind of congratulated each other after the game, and somebody just got that still shot of him kind of coming out of it.
Yeah. Still fun to look at.
It's still
fun to
it's
break down a
obviously
little bit.
Yeah. It's still fun to live in that world that he's like pissed off that he just had to dap him up. Like, all
Yeah.
right, bitch.
All right, bitch. I feel like
Game.
Josh has handled it well. You see the press conferences, and there's a couple things they took quotes and they kind of ran with it a little too much. Last possession.
I was bouncing back between that game was going on. You had the Colts game going on. That one was close.
Josh's stat line was insanely bad. It was like 9 for 30.
Yikes.
He got knocked out and got put back.
He got knocked out
I
and put
saw
back
that.
in the game. Someone was telling me that earlier, that he was like literally stiff on the ground for a second.
He's limp.
And they put him back in.
He hit some of the smelling salts and was like,
Ah,
hey.
yeah, you get them salts
And you
out.
know Josh, like, if they put him back in, it's not because they're like, hey, you seem good to go. Go ahead and go back in. You know Josh is sitting there like, hey, I'm fucking fine. Like,
Right.
I'm going back in this
Just
game.
a Wyoming boy, dude. A kid that just all grit.
Yeah.
All grit.
Trying to bring farms back to life. Fighting for the agriculture
No
world.
doubt.
Yeah.
Fighting for it.
And yeah, that's one of those gray areas that people argue like the team's got to save him from himself, and you'll hear all that. But ultimately, Josh was like, "Hey, I'm fine. I'm good to go. I'm passing all the tests. Like, get me back out in the game."
Nico, that bomb CJ Stroud had to Nico Collins, man. CJ really has touch on the ball like that.
Yeah, CJ. Yeah, I hated that Nico went out too with the hamstring injury. I got him on my fantasy team.
Really?
Yeah,
How's your fantasy team? Sounds like it's in a blender.
it
right
was. I've popped out a couple wins now. I just beat the shit out of Coop in our fantasy league.
Now. Nice.
Did we ever come up with a punishment?
No,
I'm 4-1. I'm willing to do whatever punishment y'all want.
That's the problem. Like, once the season gets going, the losers like myself, I'm thinking like, hey,
I thought it was dye your hair blonde.
I'll dye my fucking hair blonde. I know this. I'm not gonna get last. I've been trying to work the waiver wire.
Hey, low-key, I feel like it would take like 4 guys to also do it with me just to dye my hair blonde.
You've been wanting to dye your hair blonde.
I've always kind of wanted to dye my hair, but never have done it.
You like made like a brochure or a book of blonde hairstyles, right? That you did. You
No.
and Miss Tana.
No, oh, Miss Tana probably did, because I was telling her that silver look is kind of cool, but then she was telling me all the process. Miss Tana, my mother-in-law, she did hair. She's like a salonista.
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 I'll dye my fucking hair blonde.
Somebody who used to have their hair dyed blonde, Max Crosby. You saw
For
what he
real?
was saying to Bo Nix? Yeah.
Nah.
Bro, Bo Nix was calling something at the
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not talking loud enough.
He's like, speak up, Bo. They don't know shit. And then Bo Nix and Sean Payton had a little
He did dye his hair.
Low-key, I'm not kind of
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's way too pale to go blonde like that.
Yeah.
Max is way too pale to go blonde like that. I love Max.
Love him to death.
When is it time for Joe Burrow to get rid of the blonde?
He's balling though.
He's kind of
He's playing unreal.
He's kind of cut his hair. He's got
I thought you
the
said
old,
he's balding. I was like, oh shit, for real?
he's kind of cut it up. It's not like he's all blonde. He's kind of trimmed it. Like we got the NSYNC Justin Timberlake look up right now. I used to rock that look back in middle school. The blonde tips up top. Yeah, frosted
These are
tips up
frosted
top.
boys?
Oh yeah.
I had that in elementary school. My mom always had me with the Caesar cut and the frosted tips at the front.
Yeah, get out the spread it
Frosted
around on the
tip
old hair.
with
You,
a
do the
fight.
thing, you put the little thing on, then you pull your hair through.
Yeah.
No
About
shit.
30, 45 minutes. Then I'll be
Hey,
blonde
I
up
wish
top.
that was real.
With cornrows. Like, I'd never be able to pull that off.
What you talking about? Yes, you could.
No, bro.
You did it.
Yeah, that looks insane.
That the blonde?
I used to rock the cornrows on like 2K when I create a player.
For real?
Yeah.
You never like did a trip with your family to Mexico and like we're on the beach and got it done real quick?
No. Our family never went to Mexico. Our vacations we were at the Bonterre Pond.
Hey, that airbrush t-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't go on my first vacation until I was like an adult.
For real?
Yeah. We were never able to do family vacations.
Man. Shout out the grind of the family.
Or it'd be
The
like,
Midwest family.
baseball tournaments on the weekends type thing.
Yeah.
And that would kind of be the fun. You'd try to get the hotel people to leave the pool open a little bit later as a young buck. We'd be throwing in all the chairs and stuff, let it sink at the bottom.
For real?
Yeah. We won state one year and they left it open for us all night long, bro.
You won state?
In baseball? Yeah.
Oh, in baseball.
Yeah.
You never won it in football?
Well, no, it's just RJFL. It's just our little community league. You have 6 games a year.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. We hoisted the trophy a couple times. Heisman winner.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you really were him.
I mean, yeah, I was nice as a young cat. I mean, in football.
I can't imagine Bill
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Compton at the
you
community
didn't-
center.
You didn't play football until high school, right?
I played 1 year in third grade. I was a corner.
Lockdown.
third
Louis Island.
grade. Hey, nobody. I was a kid.
In third grade, bro, that's when you
No
you
one's
just weren't
throwing
very
it.
good.
No
You're like,
one's
hey,
throwing
just
it.
put him at corner out there.
Yeah, I was literally just fast. I would be the kid that like everyone's taking it real serious, but I was like picking the grass on the ground, like sitting crisscross applesauce as a play's going on. My dad would be like, "Yo, Taylor,
Yeah.
go!"
You want to know why you're at corner?
Yeah. That next year I played quarterback.
You were nice.
I quit before the season started.
Speaking of quit,
We did a tackling drill where we have to run straight, and then they have like it's an angle drill.
Yeah.
And then kids were getting tackled, and I was like, "Fuck this! That looks terrible." I got too scared. I was so scared of contact.
Yeah, the angle tackle drill.
so scared.
Terrified, dude. Even baseball, same thing. Like anytime a pitch came like remotely close, step outside the box.
This random, but I love those videos of youth football practice when the moms tackle their
Dude,
kids.
yes.
I saw that the Oklahoma drill with that kid.
Dude,
There's a
that-
couple of kids are laying their moms out, and vice versa.
Vice versa. You can
Yeah.
tell the moms that have a bad kid. They're like, they line it
Let a
up, drive.
motherfucker know, no doubt. I wish my mom would have tried that shit, dude. I would have buried her.
I saw
Clearly.
No, probably not.
I
Just
saw
talk about being a pussy for 5 minutes and be like, yeah.
I saw the clip where the kid beat his mom and he just started grittying.
No shit.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
love it.
No. Oh.
He busted his ass.
I mean, we knew what was going to happen before that one even started.
That's just the era you just don't get anymore, man. That's the bull in the ring era right there.
Oh, yeah, dude. Emasculating. I mean, these moms are barely even moving and tackling.
So this drill right here, they line this drill up and just I would get to go against the kids who they wanted to quit.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Grim
being on Will's
Reaper.
team. You separate, hey, defense over here, offense over here, and kids are doing the 1, 2, 3. Oh, Will's right there. Hey, man, you go ahead.
Yeah.
You go ahead. Just let everybody try not to match up with
My
you.
coach would be like, all right, Will's up. And then he'd point at somebody like Coop and be like, Coop, you're up. They'd be like, try to get him to quit.
They would say that to you.
Yeah. But I was so brainwashed. Like I had the little C on my chest as a young buck. And if you had the C on your chest, you were allowed to just take off at any moment. Oh, hang on a kid, if they're just walking back the line, like I would just get to go and sprint and just level the kid without him looking. Yeah.
Our football team did that in high school. Kids,
real?
yes. Like our best player would just lay people out that were walking. It was like, they did not deserve that.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
That is the
So if
most
somebody's
wild
just walking
shit.
back, I could take off at any moment, just go lay somebody out.
How often did you do it? All the
I would
time.
do it as much as possible.
Yeah,
I would
anytime
be
you saw
looking,
somebody.
yeah.
Now, if you started running and they saw you coming, they started running, would you stop?
No, I mean, I would keep going.
Till the job's done.
Till the job's done.
Yeah.
Will is a fucking menace of authority.
Yeah.
God,
Drunk
dude,
with power,
I
dude.
would have hated you.
Yeah.
I would have hated you.
Start running away.
I mean, imagine bull in the ring. Just you'd have somebody standing in the middle and people get pointed out. And
Did
you
you
just
ever
take off and
get
sprint.
got in like in the Oklahoma drill where they're like, "Hey, Will," and then somebody got
Not
you?
really, no. I mean, I was big.
What about
I
in
was like
Nebraska?
bigger than everybody.
What about in Nebraska? Like those, you guys probably had like a Nebraska drill, which was the same thing as
Yeah,
Oklahoma
I mean,
drill.
I think I lost to a fullback in like an Oklahoma drill like that, to where you're on the board.
Rex.
The
But
board-
nothing like
that
bad.
is to me the dumbest drill to have a board in between both of your feet.
Yeah.
We used to do that in like 3-point stances with the defensive lineman, and it'd be like I'd be in a defensive line stance, and just like this is doing nothing, but you got to win.
Yeah,
You
you have
gotta
to
fucking
win.
win.
The adrenaline, nerves, and everything that you have when you're just in front of the entire team going one-on-one.
Bro, my
Something like that.
my freshman year of college, there was a walk-on guy, Eric Gunderson. He was 340 pounds, and I was 250. We were both freshmen. They did the board drill, and he and I went, and he just walked me back, and they were like, again, because it was like one of those things where they were probably trying to get me to do well, so this kid would quit, type of thing. And they made me do 3 times. On the 3rd time, his helmet came off, and I swung on him. I swung, dude. I hit him like right here, like kind of hit his nose and his cheek, and he gets hit and slowly just looks back at me. I'm like, oh my God, this kid's gonna fucking kill me. Later, I like go up to apologize to him, and I'm like, hey, you get one freebie on me before like this is all done between us. So my senior year, we are literally roommates in our house. And it's like, I think right before the season started, and there's like, we're having a party at the house. And you know what your boy was kind of on back then, right?
Yeah.
So I like see Gunnarsson. He's got like a bunch of, and we were joking about like as we like became seniors, it was like, hey brother, you only have like a couple more months, and I was like, I could have left my junior year. I thought he was like, thought I was a man around here, and I'm like, Gundy, you can anytime you want, you get a free one. You get a free one. So that night at the house, I'm doing my extracurriculars, and I'm like, Gundy, it's time. He fucking smokes me, bro. It hurts so bad, but luckily he didn't sleep me. Luckily, but it hurts so bad.
4 years.
4 years, and we obviously made up. We were boys, all that stuff.
What a roller coaster. You know what else is a roller coaster?
Dude, tell me what's a roller coaster.
The NFL season. The NFL season is moving right along, and it promises to be a mouthful of tricks, treats, and of course, touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Running it in from the 1 or an 80-yard bomb. We don't care how they score. We want to bet on them. DraftKings heard us and is delivering. If you're ready to place your first bet, try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Here's a reason for new customers to do a touchdown dance of their own. When you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Yes, that promo that they show before every NFL game on primetime. You bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with the DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the app. Use code BUS. That's code BUS, B-U-S, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Great work.
It's been a fun pod. I'm excited. Has Conor texted?
What time is it?
Is he getting close?
He lands in 8 minutes.
He's about to land?
Lands in 8 minutes.
For those of you who are going to be in Oregon this weekend, the boys will be Ohio State at Oregon. Do we know where we're going to be, G?
Rennie's, I think.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
We're going to be at Rennie's Landing. In Oregon.
Landing.
Apparently it's going to be popping. We're going
in
to be there
Oregon.
at 12 p.m.
on Saturday. Ready for this night game. I mean, it is going to be maybe the biggest game they've hosted.
It's 2 versus 3.
2 versus 3.
versus
This is a
3.
massive one.
Big Ten, implications on the line. Like, this could be like the who's who of the Big Ten.
Let's go Ducks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's go Ducks.
Ride with Landing. Ride with Landing,
Ducks.
baby.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Also, we will be
There's our
getting
guy,
there Friday.
oh,
We will
I'll
be
say
getting there
that,
Friday. If you could tell us, please, what haunted house we should go to near Eugene. The boys are going to go to a haunted house, keeping the Spooktober vibes alive. It's going to be incredible.
The Spooktober, I feel like we've gotten off to an incredible start.
It's the best start
It's
in Bussin' With The
spooky
Boys
already.
history.
Yeah, and for those who are wanting to embrace the spook, we do have merch, Spooktober merch. This is my favorite shirt. Spooky season. Got the orange. You got the the
That's a
thing
crew
that
neck.
Taylor's wearing. If you're
Spooktober
watching right
dad
now,
sweater.
Spooktober dad sweater. I don't know. The brain is
Had a
the
hard one there.
The hamster died on the wheel.
Yeah. We got that. Dude, we need to make hats like this too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tried.
We tried
Tried.
making hats. They wouldn't let us make hats.
What?
Yeah, but if people can embrace the spook and call for hats,
Then
and
we can
know-
do whatever we
know
want.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we
There
want.
we go.
That's
The
good.
demand
That's
is there.
good.
Drop a hat in the chat.
Everyone has a
drop
master.
hat.
Everyone has a master.
Yeah. No, but it's been awesome. We went to a pumpkin patch. We went to Gentry's Farm. No free shout outs to Gentry's Farm.
Which, by the way, like, crazy time to do that with how hot it was this
I
past
know
weekend.
the thought process was ultimately we're going to be gone the next couple weeks because we got Oregon and then we're going to the Tennessee game. So we would have been waiting till the end of the month to do it. So we just went ahead and made the call. I mean, Charles made the call. She's pregnant. I'm kind of like leaning on her. Hey, if you want to go do this, because I told her, I'm like, it is still fucking hot.
Yeah.
Thank God it is not anymore. The weather has finally bent to our will and it feels like Spooktober. But yeah, you're right. Like it was mid 80s.
Miserable.
Sweaty, but it was fun. We had a great time. There's a lot of shade. Rube played on all the playground stuff. We went on a little hayride. We bought pumpkins. Our stairs now outside. Our porch is just decorated with pumpkins. Like the Compton family, you'd be proud of your boy.
I love that,
The
man.
whole family is embracing the spook.
I love that. Fires me up.
Yeah,
It's great. Just and literally, JP showed me right outside his door one solo pumpkin. That's all you need.
it is all
Just
you
something
need.
that reminds you, like, oh, these people are appreciating the holiday season.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be crazy. Like my house is ridiculous. It makes no sense why we have that many decorations.
you could charge for tickets at your house.
I know. When you dropped me off on Thursday, you said the same thing.
I'm looking at all the pumpkins going up in the trees and everything else. The scenes that are laid out with all the skeletons. I'm like, you need to charge tickets at this
Right.
place.
I know. My one goal is to, when my kids describe me when I'm gone, is that their dad took holidays way too serious.
Yeah.
and that's
that
what
should
I
be
want.
on your gravestone.
Yep,
Took holidays way
yep.
too serious. Love Spooktober.
Love Spooktober, especially Spooktober. But yeah, man. Also, do you want to tell about the fan call-in for locker room?
Yeah, would love to talk about the fan call-in. We have a special guest parlay call-in this week, Amanda Vance. That's the blonde that what? No, Amanda Vance. Amanda's not walking bets. This
the
is
one
Mason
Mason-
Rudolph who DM'd her during the game. Apparently found a way to DM her. Maybe I think so.
How wild would that be? Just a halftime DM.
Her bio's number one handicapper in the game. You love her Instagram. Go check her out. But she's going to be doing the fan call-in this week for the locker room. If you want to submit and have a chance, an opportunity to be featured on the locker room, you take a video. You build your favorite parlay. Again, we've had some good call-ins. You build your favorite parlay and you submit your video to info@bussinwtb.com. But we have a special call-in this week.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I
Yeah.
can't wait for this weekend, dude.
I know it's
It's going to be
fun.
amazing. We got a big guest we're doing on Thursday in Chicago. Then after that, right to Oregon. Next week, two Nashville boys are getting after it. Alabama versus Tennessee. It's going to be a great time, dude.
And Jelly Roll's album drops.
Yes, Friday.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause for Jelly Roll, huh?
His
The boy,
biggest-
the homie.
His biggest one yet. I think I saw him tweet it's the most music he's ever put out.
That's awesome. He's been on a bunch of features that he's just been killing it over and over and over again. Everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, when you turn on the TV, you're usually seeing Jelly Roll's face. He is taking this moment and he's making the most out of it. Couldn't be more happy for Jelly Roll.
He had a picture with your boy too,
Who's that?
Travis.
Barker?
Yeah,
I thought Pastrana for a second, but that didn't hit.
yeah, they were doing backflips together.
No shit, dude.
Jelly
Travis
Roll's in
Barker.
with all your favorite
I know.
guys.
He's with MGK, Travis Barker
It
now.
was the three
Like
of them in that photo.
MGK, Travis Barker, and Jelly.
It's crazy he didn't FaceTime
I mean,
you.
he should have FaceTimed me for that because that's the music I love right there.
Yeah,
right, all in one photo. I am all about everything there. By the way, Travis Barker's skin routine. I'm like the kid's
Ageless.
50.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Tattoos.
All right, boys.
Oh. Our Halloween episode.
Right.
We're trying to figure out what we're going to be wearing on the show for the Halloween episode. We would love to give you guys the power to tell us in the comments what you would like us to dress up as for Halloween. And that's what Taylor and I will do. I don't know if it's going to be the most like comment or the most like comments or whatever, but either way, help us figure out what our attire is going to be, what costume we're going to wear, and the boys will be representing on the Halloween episode. Hamster died.
And that's it, dude. Let's get to the Conor Stalions. He's going to be here in about 20 minutes. We'll knock that out. I hope you guys love the episode. Enjoy it. Big hugs, tiny kisses. But before we get into that episode, let's talk about a little something, and that is called Game Time. Thank you. Football season is here, and we can't wait to get out some games this fall with the help of Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You know how much we love Game Time, and now with their brand new Game Time Picks feature, they are making it even easier to get to a game. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Literally upcoming events, boys. Oregon, Ohio State. You want to go to that game? If they're not sold already, you're going to hit that Game Time app. It's going to sift through all the BS for you so you can get the best tickets for the best price. It's incredible. Just pull up your chosen event and turn on the QT Picks setting at the top of your screen, or browse the best local Game Time picks deals near you on your Game Time app homepage. So what are you waiting for? I've already talked about it, dude. Oregon versus Ohio State this week. It's going to be awesome. Download the Game Time app today and use code BUSSIN to easily score great deals with new Game Time picks. What time is it?
Game time!
All right, are we rolling?
Rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. He gets the drill. He knows the drill. Get it close to the mouth. Don't be scared.
Yep.
Let it touch the lips a little bit.
We were talking Conor Stalions. Let's give a round of applause for Conor Stalions. On the bus, Michigan man. We were talking before about a little football, a little everything, but let me give you my thought of who you are.
Okay.
And we can go from there because I want to get in your Michigan fandom to start.
Yep.
Every major program has a top 5% of fans that are true psychos when it comes to their program. Ohio State has it, Michigan has it, Alabama, Georgia, all these, Nebraska. All of them have these crazy fans that live and die with their program. You are one of the 5% that actually made a difference in their program besides cheering on Saturdays. Is that a fair way to put you?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
You take a lot of pride in that?
I guess.
Would
I
you?
mean, I just love Michigan. You know,
Yeah,
you know how it is.
absolutely. And that wasn't me saying crazy as like a shot or anything like that. It's just like all these big programs have these guys that like love Michigan, love Nebraska, like love all those things. And every one of those fans think to themselves, how can I help the school become better?
Right.
And you literally had the traits and the abilities with your military background and your ability to break down all of these things that you watch in your documentary that you truly were able to help a team.
Yeah.
That's got to feel amazing.
I mean, I don't remember exactly what game it was, but I remember the first time walking into the big house through section 14. We had season tickets, row 83, seat 26 and 27. Walking in, probably 3-4 years old. Just kind of told myself, like, yeah, I'll be down there one day.
No way.
And then just kind of
figured out your own way.
Everything I did with that end state in mind.
I'm so excited that you're on because, again, like we got to play. We got to play at our schools, and there comes a time for everybody where that you have to retire, whether it's in middle school, high school, college, NFL, whoever. If you get to play a long time, that's awesome. But you understanding and figuring out like, okay, I wasn't able to make it at this D1 level. How can I carve out my own path, a different route? And I feel like you're somebody who's been able to accomplish that.
Yep.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, and that's why, you know, everyone goes to the Naval Academy to serve their country, but everyone has a different reason. And I just kind of, every major successful head coach, legendary head coach, you're talking like Bud Wilkinson at Oklahoma, Osborne, John Wooden, Greg Popovich, Coach K, Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, all had one thing in common. Served in the military 4 to 5 years, at least. So, okay, they got to be onto something.
Right.
Right? So.
And this is going through your brain at what age?
This is early high school.
Okay.
I mean, I always knew I wanted to coach at Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came time to, okay, what exactly is the route? I applied to 2 schools, Michigan and the Naval Academy. Got accepted to Michigan, got waitlisted at the Naval Academy. So in my mind, like, okay, whatever, going to Michigan. And then got the call in, it was actually about 2 weeks before last day of school, senior year. I get a call, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm in the middle of class. Well, I better answer this one. So I answer it and said, whoever it is at admissions at the Naval Academy, do you have a minute? Well, I'm in the middle of class, so I'm like, let me call you back. So I call them back, and they say, oh, you've been accepted. So they said, but we need a response right now because we got to let the people behind you know. So in my mind, I just went back to all those coaches and I'm like, well, I guess I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, all right, yep, I'm in. And then I called my parents, and they teach at the middle school right down the road. So they're, oh, come over, let's talk about it. So I get there and they're like, so what are you thinking? I'm like, oh, I already told them, yeah.
No shit.
And then just went from there.
And when did you decide you wanted to be like a head coach was like your path?
3 years old.
You didn't even care to play. You're like, I want to be
I played, but like so senior year, my dad's was the 8th grade football coach. His record against our rivals was like 21-0-1 in his career. And yeah. So, I mean, I'm still waiting for them to build the statue at Scripps Middle School, but so my senior year, I didn't play. I just played. I always played basketball, and then I helped coach 8th grade football with him, kind of like his de facto defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And just kind of went from there, and that was my first actual experience, like truly coaching, and then student coach at the Naval Academy, and yeah.
What was the action? Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in the documentary, you say you go into the coach's office and you're like, hey, I want to do this. And you're like, all right, cool, go down you're in. Was it that simple as far as becoming a student coach?
So I got my foot in the door doing just video like the whole, film and practice and all that,
Yeah.
games. And so that was freshman year. And then spring going into sophomore year, I mean, I was always at the football facilities, and the director of football ops just asked, hey, you're here all the time. You want to come upstairs and help out? So for about a week or two, I was helping out with operations. And then, I was like 18 at the time, didn't know any better. I just walked right into the head coach's office, said, hey, Coach Nehemiah, he goes, hey, Conor. I didn't even know he knew my name.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. One of the best people I've ever met. And I go, hey, Coach, could I student coach? And he stands up, he thinks about it, and he goes, oh, follow me. Brings me right into Coach Jasper, the offensive coordinator's office, and says, hey, Coach, here's your new student coach. I go, oh, thanks.
And that's it.
And then
Just ran with it from
Yep,
there.
ran with it. Any responsibility I had, just treated it in my mind like I'm the head coach at Michigan, right? Like it's like a psychological thing
Yeah.
where it's vision. Like when you visualize you are what you're trying to be, then you convince your brain that you are, right? And then all your habits are like that. So everything I did, the first thing I did at Michigan. Kind of skipping ahead here, but the first assignment I had at Michigan was doing a wind report. Special teams. Yeah, every stadium.
Yep.
Every stadium we play in, we need a wind report.
Yeah. Gotta have
I
that.
said, okay, do you have like a template of one? I said, I don't know. I don't know where we would. I've seen one before, but just kind of start it, and then I'll kind of redirect you if it's not what we're thinking. And so, all right. So I just became like a weatherman for a month. You're
thinking
it was probably like 5 days. Probably
Yeah.
took about 5 days, and I give him this like 18-page packet, and it had like every kickoff, where it landed, and what the wind was that day, and every stadium they played in that year. And I think they were like, "What the heck is this?"
No,
You're thinking
doubt.
I'm
They're probably like, well, what do we got here?
He's like, I'm gonna be the best goddamn weatherman they've ever seen.
Ever seen?
Yeah. And then it was the next task, whatever it was. Just I'm gonna be the best at whatever it is.
This the epitome of giving 110% at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. When did it start to, like, you're at the Naval Academy? When did you start to, how did you create your first opportunity outside of the Naval Academy?
So sophomore year, spring break, I go back home to Michigan, and Coach Harbaugh just got the job, and they're doing this coaches clinic. And Coach Partridge at the time was the recruiting coordinator, so he ran the clinic. And I went with some of my high school coaches and my dad, and I think like Mike Martz or someone big was speaking, so all eyes were on him. And
Mike
then
Martin?
Mike Martz. He was like a head coach for the Rams,
Yeah.
Super Bowl
Got
winner.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was speaking, all eyes are on him, but I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. So I go down and talk to Coach Partridge, and basically was like, hey, I'm here for a week. This was like Friday night or Saturday morning, right? Spring break just started, right? So you get the next 9 days or whatever. And so I go and introduce myself and tell him, hey, I'm here on spring break. I'm here for the week. I'd love to help out. Told him I name dropped a couple of people that I knew he knew at Navy, so I student coach with them. And, he probably thought, one, why the heck are you in Ann Arbor on spring break?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then two, military, Naval Academy, student coaching. Okay, yeah, we'll find something for you to do. And just ran with it from there. And I think the wind report was that off season. That was like the first, in my mind, big project I had or whatever. And
Was there something to leaving after your sophomore year? You know what I mean? Because you're obviously taking a chance going and diving into this next opportunity with Michigan.
well, I was doing both. So I was a student at Navy. Like I did my 4 years at the Naval Academy, and then my 5th year I was a temporary assigned duty. It's like a grad assistant with the football team because they don't have a post grad school, right? So, I student coach. So I wasn't at every single Michigan game
Yeah.
during my 4 years at Navy because I was at every Navy game.
Mhm.
But,
Okay.
like we had a bye week or spring break or in the summer, and I had time to go home or whatever. That's when I would help out. And then when I got, so I graduated in 17. Go to, so now I'm a Marine Corps officer. Do maybe 5 or 6 months as like a GA with the Navy football team, and then I go do my Marine Corps training and then get stationed in California. At that point, when I'm no longer with Navy football, that's when I was then flying back and forth,
Okay.
helping out Michigan. And then I was at like pretty much every game. So that started in like 2018.
And you were helping the coaching staff
Yes.
during that time as well.
So it started when I was at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina for a few months training, and then stationed in California. So, they kind of touched on it in the documentary. I would, when I was in California, I would live. Well, I started sleeping on my couch, and I rented out all the rooms in my house to make money.
Yeah.
And save money to fly back and forth and all that. And then I realized, well, I live like 55 minutes north of Camp Pendleton. So why am I driving back and forth just to sleep on my couch? I'm just going to sleep in my car. So I slept at the I-5 South rest stop right outside Camp Pendleton every day for like 2 years.
No shit.
Yep.
Every day for 2 years.
Saved 2 hours, like an hour driving north, an hour driving south.
That's gas. That's everything. That's
You're
everything you
saving
need.
money. You're saving time. So that's 2 more hours of watching film.
Dude, I love it. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, but at the same time, very, very few people are willing to sacrifice.
Right, and it's
Yeah.
also like people are like, oh, he was such a big fan of Michigan. Like anybody who like wants to be successful, like these are the kind of sacrifices
Yeah.
you should make in the beginning of the game
Yeah.
to get these things going.
Yeah.
So you're flying back and
So I'm
forth.
flying back and forth. So yeah, say I get back from Ann Arbor, wherever we're playing, and so yeah, Sunday night, get back, LAX, drive down, pick up my laundry, which I put in over the weekend, and then drive down, stay at the rest stop, wake up, 5 a.m., whatever, workout on base, work ends, I'm watching film, go to the rest stop, sleep, do the same thing for 4 days, and then Friday after work, drive up to my house in Orange County, do my laundry, drive up to LAX, fly to take the red eye. So it was always 2019 and 2021 because COVID, I couldn't go to games.
Mhm.
So 2019 and 2021, every single game was off no sleep.
No shit.
Yeah, took the red eye, land wherever we are. It's like sometimes we'd be playing like Illinois, so I'd have to fly into Indianapolis, rent a car, drive over to Illinois, drive back, and then I would hit the Kansas City Chiefs game on my way back. So my boy Frank was his first year with the Chiefs, and so
Frank Clark.
Yeah.
so at 2019. We lost to Alabama in the Citrus Bowl, and the season ends. And I'm already kind of going to Chiefs games whenever it's convenient on my flight back. And so Michigan football is done now for the season, and so I'm thinking like, well, what do I do with myself? Right outside the Marine Corps, what do I do? So I just started breaking down film for Frank, and
Interesting.
Yeah.
2019.
You got the
Right before,
Sure,
I believe
you got
there was
the
two
clip-
teams that played in the AFC Championship that year.
Sure, you got the clip pulled up?
There were 2 teams that played in the AFC Championship that year, and Frank.
First off, we're doing good so far.
he texted me. He's like, "Have this clip ready because I got a fun story with Taylor for this."
That's the fun story that was in the
So
thing.
when you're like Frank Clark. I'm
Hold
thinking
on,
in my head.
go back. Let's break this. If we're gonna do this, let's break down. Now I want to point
Time out. Can he say what his
No.
the scouting
You got
report?
this. You got this.
Okay.
You got
I
this.
want to point out that Frank told me at the beginning of this game, I'm going to get a sack on you. Right now, it's the fourth quarter, a minute and 28 seconds
is,
left.
and he has not
We are
had
down
one
by
yet.
11. He has not had a sack. I don't think he's even had a pressure. So maybe your scouting report wasn't that great, but we'll get into this anyway. Hits me with the half spin. We see it. We handle it. Now, I want you to pause it.
Bop.
No. Keep going. Now.
Bop.
Okay. That is 9 yards from the line of scrimmage. We got to step up. Dude, we got to step up. We got to step up, right? Right, boys? We got to step up in the pocket. Now, Chris Jones can't step up. So go ahead. What was your scouting report?
No, so
You start breaking down film. I want to hear the breakdown.
I started
yeah.
breaking down film, and it was not as detailed on you as it was the next game in the Super Bowl. But like for example, here is it was very I took one day, right? I'm still a Marine
Took
Corps.
one day. Is that scouting report
First
on
lieutenant
the Titans, or is that
That
individually?
one's on the Titans. The next one, slide right, that is the Super Bowl. That was way more detailed, and that was really dialed for that one. I just watched film. I got the what's the NFL Game Pass, right? So
yeah, the premium.
all 22. Yep.
Yeah,
Watching every snap.
I'm up and
No,
down.
this is your
That's
work.
what I
Yeah.
would do for Frank. Yeah. That's
I
funny,
love it.
'cause so and that's how I met Frank's agent.
When
at the
Tannehill
time.
kills or audibles, if he's under center, 13 runs to 1 pass. If he's in gun, kills or audibles, 7 pass to 1 run.
Yeah.
Could Connor send that to us so we can pull it up on the screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
text that to me, Connor. That is wild. So you're doing this.
The Super Bowl one. So like I didn't get into details on your hand placement or foot placement or anything like that, but for the Super Bowl I did. And so I'm up in the nosebleeds at the Super Bowl, and every single play I'm calling run pass to myself. It's just they're about to run. Oh, they're about to pass.
and you were
From section 552 or whatever it is.
Nosebleeds.
Yeah.
and you were. What was your
Frank was-
percentage of getting it right?
Oh, in the Super Bowl every play.
Yeah.
You could tell off their hand
Super Bowl.
placement. I mean, did you see?
Yeah,
the-
let me
look at this one.
Who'd they play in that Super Bowl?
San Fran.
San
So
Fran.
it was Joe Staley and Michael Glinchey, and like you can zoom in on that one. It was 100% tells. It was 100% tells.
Foot out 90% pass. Foot
Just
in 100% run. Michael Glinchey, 3-point stance, 14 out of 16 run.
Yeah, how
Foot
much did it
in,
cost?
5 out of 5 run. Foot out, 1. All right, pass. 50% pass. 3-point stance. Dude, this is terrifying.
It's amazing.
This is hands
So-
together, 2 out of 3 pass. No way. Pull up Frank Clark's stat line.
So let me say this before. I mean, I already know this. The only person in the history of football to have the game-winning or game-sealing sack in every single playoff game from divisional round to Super Bowl is Frank Clark.
Yeah, this is
Even
incredible.
if it's a coverage sack that was
mean,
filthy.
But
move.
he's got the clutch gene.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why
he's
he
a
got
stud.
paid. He's a dude.
Joe Staley, when he's in a 3-point stance, 5 out of 6 will run. If his hands are apart, 15 out of 16 were a run. Hands together, it was pass. I mean, those
That's
are
the kind
those
of
are
stuff,
details
man.
where everybody kind of finds their edge within the game. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you're a genetic specimen and go with it, it makes it that
Yeah,
much more
no doubt.
difficult.
No doubt.
Okay, so 2019, where is the Michigan Manifesto at this point?
Okay.
Is it alive?
Yep.
Gotta hear
it is
about the
alive and well.
manifesto.
It's alive and
It
well.
is
Okay,
alive and well.
So take me through.
Even last year when everything was happening, I was like, hey, there's a manifesto. Like, even
I'm
if
sure-
he's
I'm sure
gone,
he's
it
done
doesn't
all-
matter.
I'm sure he knows exactly who talks shit about him the
Oh,
entire
I
time.
know, 100%.
yeah, I know. He's got a manifesto on people that have talked shit.
Yes. No, I know exactly how that leaked. I know exactly who leaked it. I'm not going to say who, but
Will you
when I saw, and here's how I know, because the article said something about 600-page Michigan Manifesto. 600 pages. That was in like 2018, 2019.
How big is this thing
It's
now?
got to be thousands by now.
Do you have it in like a hard copy?
No, so that's the thing.
Like
so,
an Old Testament book.
So I have the original, like how it started. So this is what happened. So okay, go to the Naval Academy, and I always go back to those legendary head coaches, right? They all have that one thing in common, military, right? So my freshman year, I'm like, well, wow, I'm going to learn a lot, and I need to have a place to organize everything I learn. I can't let one little thing slip by. And a lot of people, when they take notes, whatever, and then they just stack notes. And how do you know where to reference? I remember that one thing I read in that book. What was that book? It was about hiring and firing personnel. What book was it? And then you go through all your notes, and it takes you 2 weeks before you find the quote or whatever it was that you're
That you're trying to
think
reference,
of,
yeah.
right? So I used the way that the military organizes everything as like my foundation for how I'm going to organize my notes. And it started off as a binder, and then that got too big, and then I needed something electronically, so it went to a Microsoft Word document. And then I realized, well, I need to be able to capture any thought or any idea at any time. I can only do a Word document if I have my specific laptop. So then it translated to a Google Doc. So now I can do it from my phone, from anywhere. I can do it from right now. You give me a great quote, pull up my phone, type it in. It's in the manifesto, and I know exactly where it is. So you could right now mention any thought, any concept of anything, all the way from leadership to the X's and O's of the game to, equipment, anything. And I'll be able to put a quote or pull something. If you had like, hey, what are your thoughts on, firing personnel? Well, I have probably 15 to 20 pages of notes on that, and I know exactly where it is. And it's super organized. It's just notes.
Yeah, it's notes, but it goes into a Google Doc, and then later in the documentary, you talk about signs and all that. When did the manifesto evolve into seeing these signs and being able to break down?
You're talking about just deciphering signals in a game,
right? Is a manifesto a part of that, or are these two separate?
That was my first major task at Navy. So
your first major task was which?
At the Naval with Navy football. So I'm student coaching now, and we're a week from game day, and I'm like, wait, what do I do on game day? Right. And this applies to me at Michigan too, and I started helping out. So like really in 2019 and 2021, there's no job description for me because I'm not an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm just volunteer. I'm a volunteer student coach at Navy, and then I was a volunteer assistant at Michigan. So there's no job description. Why would you have a job description for a role that you don't even have? And then, I just kind of get my foot in the door and work my way in. So at both places, it started at Navy. I just say, so what do I do on game day? And I forget who it was, but one of the coaches said, well, I don't know. Let me look into it. But I remember last year we had a guy, he just graduated, who tried deciphering signals, opponent signals in game. And I knew nothing about it. I never did that in high school. I don't know. Okay. So I went in with a blank sheet of paper, a clipboard, and a pen. And our first game was Ohio State. And just started, that was the birth. And they talked about it in the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite quotes. I said, well, I am one of the dumber people at the Naval Academy. I mean, I was like the last person to get accepted pretty much, right? And it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. But I'm like, well, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids in Columbus. Like, I got to be able to, if they know their signals, I can figure out their signals.
Mm-hmm. So it's a personal challenge.
Oh, it was like and it's Ohio State. So,
right. How long in that game did you start to figure
3 drives.
out? 3 drives.
Yep.
Okay. Can you break that down for me a little bit?
I mean, I don't remember exactly.
Right.
The play. I think they ran.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you have
lot,
a very good memory.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of games since then, but I just remember, it was both sides of the ball, whatever I could get, and I just remember getting their offensive signals pretty early and just not knowing what to do with the information. So I would just yell it out. And because there wasn't like a structure, no one knew who I was. Like,
right.
I'm 2 weeks into being a student coach. Like, they don't know who I am. Like,
right.
the OC knew who I was, but he's up in the booth, and like the director of football ops knew who I was. And that was pretty much it. And the players,
right?
But so I'm just yelling like power left, like, who's this? And it'd be power left, and then the next play, whatever it was, and it's you just gotta have a knack for it, but it's not rocket science. It's just signals.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you're in such a spot to where, again, you don't have like a job title, you don't have a description. Yep. Like, you're in such a militant, law of attraction, success. Like, I'm going to provide as much value as I possibly fucking can, so that way they can't ignore me.
Yes.
And then when is the point to where it starts to turn to where you're now becoming a valuable asset that they're leaning on? Just in your own role, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're doing the weather, then you're getting whatever the next thing is. To where it's
Michigan
like, all right,
or Navy?
Either one. Either one.
Did Navy ever recognize you for like, hey, this guy's really picking up signals, he's understanding, this really gives us an edge?
Well, yeah, because they had a
Or
guy
just
the year
information
before,
breakdown.
right? Yeah, it's you know, and I say this too, like, even at Michigan this last year before I was suspended, signals was like 10 to 15% of my job. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one responsibility that I did. You're still, you know, breaking down film, getting formation tendencies, you know, stuff like that.
Right. That you did for Frank.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm going to skip ahead right now. It's on my mind. The best team to ever protect their signals was East Carolina last year. First game. And I'm not going to get into details on exactly what they did to protect, because I don't want to out them right now. They're probably still using it because it's pretty legit. But it took me 2.5 quarters to figure out which signaler was live. That's the longest it's ever taken me.
Really?
Yep. And it was week 1, so it's brand new signals.
Right.
So I pretty much go in with a blank sheet of paper, and I had a good idea of how to tell who was live, but they like flipped it from the year before. And I also did one of the formation breakdowns for our defense. So I knew, for example, every time it's 2x2, 4 removed, so no tight end in the core, and their only run out of that formation was quarterback draw. And I'm fast forwarding like the fourth quarter right now. We're up 30-0, and I'm watching there. I now know who's live, and I see him signal the 2x2 formation. And then I see one signal. It was like alpha with his hand. And usually, I mean, you guys understand play calls, right? Like, so.
Yeah, word association.
So if there's a formation and then one word, chances are it's not a pass, right? Because you'd have a pass protection and then the concept.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if a huddle breaks really quickly, you're like, okay, it's probably going to
Yep.
be a run here. But if the quarterback's in there looking around everywhere else, you're like, all right.
He's tagging receivers and
Yeah.
all that. And then also a lot of runs still have some tags to it, right? So only one word, I'm thinking draw or screen. So, and then this goes on in my head in like a second, right? So I see the 2x2, like doubles formation, whatever you want to call it. And then I see one signal. I'm thinking, well, that's got to be draw or screen, I would think. It was I think it was like 2nd and 5, and it was 2 minute. So, but in my mind, I'm like, this isn't really a draw situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also remembered 2019, Penn State, same signal was their quarterback draw. And that's the only time I've ever seen that signal. And I remember the breakdown I did, quarterback draw out of that formation. So I think you can see it because Coach Minter was the interim head coach that game.
Mm-hmm.
And they happened to be showing him. And I'm like behind him. I'm like, I think this is draw. And so we're yelling, draw, 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 which is one of the worst feelings when you say, I think it's something. And then everyone's yelling. I'm like, oh, God, this better be a draw.
Yeah, you better hit.
Yeah.
And it was a draw. But they still converted a first down. But it's just like that's how many things have to go into it, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not just like look at the signal. It's not this like black and white thing. A lot of times I'm kind of, I think this is what it is, and so kind of how it works on game day is, in my mind, I have a threshold where if I am not 95% certain, I'm not saying a word.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to take a step back for this all to make sense. So in college football, all right, we're going to get into some really good details here.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So college football, the culture has always been to go up tempo ever since the mid 2000s, right? You don't see many teams that huddle. NFL, the culture is obviously to huddle. And I'm going to kind of mix last year to present day now because of the whole new quarterback comms rule. And everyone assumes that, oh, signaling is over. Well, no, signaling is picked up now. And to understand that, you have to understand the history of signals, you know, just how it works. And the reason signals exist is because of up tempo. It's not because there's no quarterback comms. It's because offenses like to go up tempo, right? I have not watched, disclaimer, I have not watched Ole Miss and Tennessee all that much this year, but I would assume they're still going up tempo. I don't see a world in which all these teams that are like snapping the ball with 30 seconds left in the play clock are huddling, all because they have coach to quarterback comms now.
Right.
So they're going up tempo, which forces the defense to signal, right? You can't huddle as a defense if the offense is spread out.
Right.
They'll just snap it and throw it over your head if you're in the huddle. So signaling will always exist as much as offensive coordinators want it to exist. And signal stealing has been more prevalent with offenses stealing defensive signals. So going back to 2018, 2019 with Michigan, our defense was getting our signals stolen left and right. Teams like Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, and so on. Pretty much the whole Big Ten. Probably Nebraska.
Yeah. Probably.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong because
it's everyone.
Simplicity.
Except like Iowa and Michigan State.
It's
everyone
like
else is stealing.
Michigan State
Yeah.
wasn't stealing.
I don't think so because
Don't
they
have
were
the
the
budget.
worst at protecting.
Yeah.
I was just going to say for simplicity's
for
sake.
you to say that about Michigan State, you're saying that they're the worst at protecting.
If you
Usually
are bad
teams that
at
good
protecting, you're probably not stealing, right? Like if
Right.
you
yeah,
if you're
it's a
good at
one-on-one.
stealing, you know what it takes to protect. So
Right.
the teams that were really good at protecting, you can also look. They got a guy just like me, right? The media didn't go crazy about their guys, right? But everyone has a guy.
Everyone
right.
has a Connor.
Yes.
Some teams have multiple Connors.
Oh, a lot.
We'll
Yes.
we'll definitely get into that.
Yep,
Let's keep
yep.
breaking
But
this
so,
down because that is
okay.
obviously a huge thing we want to
So
talk about.
so we're getting our signals stolen left and right.
and that's because of the tempo you guys are facing and it's just simply
because and just football in general, right? Like whether it's covering up issues as a play caller or personnel issues, whatever it is, you can always utilize and manipulate tempo to give you an advantage, right? To regain that advantage, right? And in a lot of times, especially in a world where everyone's signaling, you can even force the defense to signal before you signal. Maybe not force, right? Because at the end of the day, if you know what's going on, it's just a cat and mouse game.
Mm-hmm.
You just wait until they signal and just call them out on their bluff.
And
Like,
just to your defense too, like if being a defender, if an offense is tempoing you, the coordinator will kind of tell you before the game, hey, if they start tempoing us, there'll only be like 2 or 3 calls that they go to.
correct.
So you're almost understanding the tendency before it
Yep.
happens.
But also, they can tempo and then hard count. Right. So just to
Right.
get whatever you're in, maybe you showed blitz or maybe you showed your safety shell or you showed too high, whatever it is.
Right.
They get to the line quick and they get you to kind of tell real quick and then they call their play and they expose it, right? They're cover 4. Let's call it cover 4 beater. Oh, hey, they're bringing the nickel. They're dropping the buck. Let's throw a slant, to the slot right away.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And so, yeah, that was happening to us. And so in 2021, the big change was, so when Coach McDonald got the job, he asked, he said, hey, he's new. He's been in the NFL coming back to college. And he goes, hey, how do we protect our signals? And I told him, I said, well, it's a cat and mouse game. You got to think of it like it's like red light, green light. If I'm watching them signal and I am not talking, that means they have not signaled. So don't signal because then we're the mouse. You just have to wait for them to begin signaling. So, and it's not the sexy thing everyone wants to hear, but 99 times out of 100, they already know what they're calling no matter what. They just want to have the green light to call it so their signal doesn't get stolen. Right. So usually in game, I'm looking, and if I say like, hey, trips Y flex, the formation, maybe I say like Y across to trips Y flex, which here's usual signals for like Y across, like Y across trips Y flex. What like it's like it's anyone could see that and just hey, this is what the formation is. And usually he's calling the play just like that, right? So it's not like the coordinator was waiting for like, hey, is it going to be a run? Is it going to be a pass? It's more like Mike McDonald is a very successful college football coach and now NFL head coach, right? Jesse Minter is what are the Chargers are giving up the fewest points in the NFL right now? Yeah,
they're very good.
So these guys get paid to do what they do. They're not listening. They're not like calling their defense, waiting for me. I'm just a green light to basically tell them, hey, you have permission to signal without it getting stolen. And that is kind of where it picked up in 21, where we were now no longer the mouse. It was all even playing field, essentially. And what teams will do, though, like Ohio State, and I got a whole breakdown on every single play from 2018 to present day, Michigan, Ohio State.
Can we see it?
Yeah. Now,
from 2018 to present day, a whole breakdown of Ohio State's offense.
When Ohio State's on offense and we're on defense. And I watched every play on film, and I categorized it. Who's the mouse? Who's the cat? And then sometimes it's just neutral.
The wash, yeah.
Yep. And here we go. So in 2018, Ohio State was the cat every play because they were picking us apart signal wise, right? And they were running mesh. Every time we're in cover one, they're running mesh rail. Every time we're blitzing, they happen to be in max protection. Take a shot. Every time we're in zone, they run the ball. Right. I mean, it's not a coincidence. I'm watching them. They have me in, Ryan Day's ear, and we signal. They talk. I see it. We talk, but we signal first, so we're the mouse.
Right.
And then so that happened in 2018, 2019. So they were the cat every play, those two games. They averaged 8.15 yards per play in 2018 and 8 yards per play in 2019, and they had 15 touchdowns in those two games. Okay, 2021, it was a stalemate 72 times. Okay, so that's like they're signaling, and then we start to signal right after they start to signal. Okay, they were the cat 3 times. And here's how I categorize them being the cat. When they had a play called, so it starts off as a stalemate, and then Ryan Day gets CJ Stroud's attention last second because he sees what we're in. Maybe they got our signal, maybe they see our shell, whatever it is, and they change the play right before the snap. Okay, that's them being the cat. So our signals
they get the pen
exposed.
to paper last.
Yep. And then they were the mouse every time they hard counted that game. Here's why. In 2018 and 2019, every time they hard counted and then looked to the sideline, we already had our signal called, and we never changed it. So, I mean, they exposed us.
Right. So they know the zone, man, all that.
2021, I know their hard count signal. So I know when they're going to hard count, so we don't have to show a blitz or whatnot. They stole the wrong signal because we would change our call.
And do you know who Ryan Day's Conor Stalions is?
Yeah, but I'm not going to out anyone.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
As you shouldn't, but we know he's there.
Yeah.
Is he good at his job?
Yes, very. Yeah. So when they were the mouse, actually, I'll start with when they're the cat. When they were the cat, so they changed the play late 3 times. They averaged 9.3 yards per play. When it was a stalemate, they averaged 5.3 yards per play. They did score 3 touchdowns. It was 72 plays, so that's the majority of the game, right? When they were the mouse, they only averaged 4 yards per play, 6 times.
And you said there were 72 total plays, or they were
72. They were the stalemate, so it was 81 total plays.
Got you.
And yeah, I mean, you see when they're the cat, they average the most yards per play, all the way down. When they're the mouse, they're not doing much. So their first the 2018 and 2019, they hard counted 40 times. You can go back and watch the film. They hard counted 40 times. 2021, 6, because it wasn't working.
Right.
Because they couldn't steal our signal when they hard counted, because we just basically played this cat and mouse game with them and didn't allow them to be the mouse or to be the cat every time.
When you're explaining this cat and mouse game to the coaches, how receptive were they to, hey, you got to
Very.
show
Mike
patience?
McDonald is amazing. He's one of the smartest people I've been around, and elite coach, right? He also empowered everyone. He's a great leader, and he would listen. So, it couldn't have been any better having him there. It was huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Is so
You know, basically he just, hey, I'm the DC. I want to call the plays and focus on that. I don't want to get my signal stolen. Can you help me? Yeah, just, wait till it's a green light. Okay, thanks.
Outside of the signal stuff, what situations were you in charge of breaking down?
Well, in 21, I was still in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So that's when I was flying back and forth. I just showed up on game day.
Okay.
And helped out. 22, when I get hired, recruiting, and then recruiting signals, and then it evolved into helping out with the linebackers.
Okay. Nice.
Formation breakdowns. And all that.
Yeah. I'm so fascinated. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah. And you can see if you want me to keep going on this Ohio State thing, they weren't the cat one play in 2022 in Columbus. And they averaged 6 yards per play. And then when they stole the wrong signal because they hard counted, they averaged 5 yards per play. They scored 1 touchdown each in those situations. But it's funny. There's a video someone sent me of, it's like me by Coach Minter, 2022 in Columbus. And some guy is doing this breakdown saying, I'm saying run right, run right.
Oh, you talking about where all 11 players just ran?
Do we have that clip?
It wasn't even, all right, first of all, I'm saying Nike, because that's what we called an opponent's hard count.
Mm-hmm.
Nike. And you can see the Nike board go up behind me. We have a board in Nike basically telling our, safeties, don't show a shell. They're trying to steal our signal right now.
Right.
Right. And be ready for us to change the call.
Yeah.
So if they look, we're going to change our call to make sure they stole the wrong signal.
This is the clip you're talking about right here?
No. That was after one of their hard counts. You see he hard counts right there.
Yeah, and the Nike sign behind it.
We had the Nike sign, right? But there's a different one where some guy does this breakdown on he's trying to read my lips, and he says he's saying run right, run right. That's what he's saying. I'm saying.
Right.
But I'm saying Nike, Nike. And by the way, the run was to the left because it's from the defense's perspective, right? I'm not going to say it's a run to the right when they run it to our left. So I say Nike, and then you can see them hard count. Look, they just stole whatever we just signaled, and then we changed our call.
I just sent you that video in the group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll pull that up for sure, because you see so many of these clips and videos of you, and you're saying something to somebody, and everyone wants to freak out over it.
No doubt.
But while he's pulling,
I'm actually protecting our signals.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling our coordinator they are hard counting. Call a play you don't want to call because they're trying to steal our signal.
So this is the clip right here of
yes,
you're saying Nike, Nike.
Yep, you can see me say twin Y, Nike. And there goes the Nike board. You saw it go up.
Yeah.
And you see Ohio State hard count. So now they're all looking at the sideline. Now they're signaling. And then we call our other play, so they just stole the wrong signal.
And it goes for no yards.
Yeah. Everybody there feasting. They break down the there's this tight end screen.
Yeah.
I want to say the Houston Texans. Stover. Yeah. And he said essentially it's a formation we've never done it out of. We've never ran this play out of. And he was beside himself on figuring out how you guys knew that.
I just sent you that clip too, Sherm.
Yeah.
Insane, incredible awareness by the defense and understanding that it was a screen.
Guys just in the film room, 24/7, man. Dialing it all in.
So I don't remember what formation it was out of, but
Can we pull that clip up before you explain it?
yeah.
Was that to Bussin?
Yeah, just scroll up. That one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do they show the play?
No,
Oh, they don't?
Yeah, they
but
don't show the play.
Okay.
we could pull it up.
Yeah. Yeah, see it, yeah.
It
Try to type in
was,
something to pull that up. But yeah, I'm thinking about it in my head.
It had to be first quarter, because they were going the same direction.
Yeah, dude,
It
I
was
am
right by our
obsessed with this.
sidelines,
I love
around the
this.
25, 30-yard line,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
This
It was right in front of us. I just
Right,
remember
it was,
right
into,
in
it was
this-
into the boundary in front of you
Yes,
guys.
correct.
We're getting to, you called this play that they had not run before, but you were able to decipher it.
Yes.
Is this one of your top 5 calls?
It
Is this like a
it
top
backfired,
5?
though. It backfired. CJ Stroud turned around and everyone was right there, and he scrambled and got a first down,
Oh,
or at least got significant yards.
Was this in
Frank's
22?
FaceTiming me right now.
22? Is he? Answer it. Dude, Frank was a war daddy at Michigan.
Frank, we're on the bus right now.
What up, Frank?
What's up, baby? What you doing? What are you going to Tejas for? What you doing? That's awesome, man. Well, I hope you're doing well, brother.
Yep, I'll hit you up after. Yep,
See you, Bob. Love.
that's
love-
funny. Already gave him the shout out.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
do we
that
have-
tight end screen,
Yes.
whatever the formation say, here's the thing. Ohio State had like 8 signalers all year, something like that. And everyone signals the formation. Mistake number 1. Like, I don't need to know who's live to see what the formation is.
Right.
Anyone could see that. Mistake number 2, they never changed who their live signaler was the entire season.
So I guess their Conor Stalions isn't that good then.
Apparently not as good.
They didn't do it.
Let's go.
They didn't do enough self-scouting.
Correct. So and here's the bottom line of how can you be so good in game? I just realized,
Is this the clip right here?
is this it?
This is the tight end screen.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Slot YY. So I think they motion into slot YY and then
Also, that's a cut block. You see a cut by the running back? I'm pretty sure that's a
Yeah.
penalty.
yeah.
That's just Stroud making
So
something.
they
Stroud is
signaled
such a
their
dog, too.
signal for the slot YY formation, and then the guy who was live the entire season signaled Y delay. Am I
that's-
supposed to see that and be like, oh, I don't know what this is?
Right.
Right.
So you call it
Like,
out.
I said, I think this has got to be a Y delay screen.
God. So we talked about Ohio State having their own Conor Stalions. How many of the Power 4 conferences have a Conor
Yeah, I
Stalions?
mean, it's got to be 80 to 90%.
80-90%. But let's
Like the Big Ten before, well, I'm sure USC does. I'm sure Washington probably does.
Any
Oregon
team
probably,
worth
right?
of shit has.
The only 2 teams that, to my understanding, did not were Iowa and Michigan State in the Big Ten.
Mhm.
Nebraska, when we played them last year, this is like, 2 games before I got suspended. They, first of all, they huddled almost every play. We want to go game by game last year. ECU, new signals because it's game 1 and they're the best at protecting. So we're up 30-0 before I even started figuring out what was going on.
Mhm.
Next game was UNLV. They had 1 signaler, so that was easy. Game 3, Bowling Green. They were okay at protecting. I figured them out pretty early. Game 4, Rutgers. They huddled every single play. They're really good at getting signals.
Mhm.
So again, if you're really good, we huddled
And
every play.
We just beat them too. So
Yeah.
they were undefeated.
Handled business.
Very good. Yeah,
Nebraska
yeah,
handled business on
Yeah, we
that.
handled business.
So Rutgers, they're very good at protecting their plays.
Very good because they're good at getting signals. So they
And did
know.
you figure them out at all?
Well, like I know their guy.
Yeah.
So we both, well, first of all, Michigan offense, we never really steal signals. We huddle more than anyone in the country. I think besides Air Force maybe, or whoever, one of the service academies. But you don't see Michigan go up tempo all too much. But yeah, we huddled every play and they huddled every play. And then after the game, I talked to their guy and we just kind of, that was the ultimate stalemate.
Yeah. He just the cat.
See you later.
Yep.
And did you know him personally before the game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then right after the game, like, all right, right back to, whatever you need help with, let me know. I'll give you what I got. And he gives me what he's got. And that happens every Sunday. Right.
So every Sunday you essentially talk to the team you just played, their guy, their Conor Stalions.
anyone.
Well, a lot of coaches do that too. It's like,
yeah.
hey,
So like, right. I'm
yeah.
sure the head coaches exchange information with, and not even just the team you just played. Like, okay, Michigan's got Illinois coming up, and Illinois already played Nebraska, so I could call Nebraska's guy and be like, hey, what do you got in Illinois? Who do you play next week?
Right.
I'll give you what I got on so and so.
Right.
That happens all the time, and that's not just signals. That's D
Everywhere.
coordinators, hey, what plays did you like? What did you see? All that. So yeah, I mean, after that Rutgers game, it was right back to, all right, we're friends now. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. No signals at all the entire game. And then the next game was Nebraska, and they did not signal until like their third drive of the game. We were already up 14-0 before their first signal.
Right. They had the 3rd and 1 pick.
But the funniest thing was, most teams have boards that sometimes it means formation, sometimes it tells you which signaler is live. It could mean many different things. Nebraska's boards told you which signaler was live, and they had these quadrants and pictures in each quadrant. And most of the pictures, I'm sure, didn't mean anything, but one of the boards they had my high school logo on it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they knew
That was
you.
pretty funny.
They were aware of you.
We all know who each other are, so that was probably just a funny, like, hey.
So they, because they
Like
know you're
Orion
gonna
High
be looking
School.
at
Any
it.
other intel with
Yep.
Nebraska?
No. Who they play next week?
It's a bye week, but then Indiana.
Okay. Indiana. Ooh, that's a good game.
Yeah,
Where is it?
at Indiana.
Ooh.
What kind of information can you give us on Indiana?
Give me a week.
I was gonna say it might
I'll
be
wait
more,
for your
it might-
text. I'll wait
might have
for
to
your
go back
text.
to the JMU stuff
Yeah.
Yep.
with who is it? Signetti? Is that his name? Yeah.
Oh, he's really good. And then the next game after Rutgers last year was Minnesota. They huddled every play.
Then you guys body bagged Minnesota.
And
Oh my god.
then Indiana, they were decent at protecting their signals. And then I wasn't there.
Did Michigan have a signal stealer before you?
No. So
they
that's
didn't. They were
when I
playing-
went from Navy to there, like once I was in the Marine Corps, it was 2018 was the start of it. It was maybe week 4 or 5. I think actually the last game I was in the stands for may have been Michigan, Nebraska in like 2018. Maybe it was Northwestern. I don't remember who it was. It was one of those two teams.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm on the field, because I asked, I said, well, I was there for a 2-week kind of limbo period between training and being stationed in California. And so I asked, like, hey, what can I do on game day? And they're like, I don't know. What do you think? I said, well, I mean, I did this at Navy. You want me to try that? And they're like, yeah, sure. I don't think we have anyone doing that. And just ran with it. I don't know about that.
Well, let me ask that question because did anyone from South Carolina get signs from you to steal from Tennessee and Georgia?
I don't know anyone at South Carolina. Now, here's what I'll say. There's this whole, like a giant circle of the intel guys, right, that know each other, right? And you're usually 1 or 2 phone calls away from anyone you want. Right, like if we played Georgia in 21 in the Orange Bowl, and I got a hold of a couple SEC teams that were playing Big Ten teams in their bowl game, and so I'd give them what I had on them, and they'd give me what they had on Georgia. Also, this is my favorite. So trading happens all the time, right? 2021, we lose to Michigan State. Kenneth Walker had a great game.
Played fantastic.
Yep. And we needed some help. Right. They had to lose twice. And we had to
Who
win
had to
out.
lose twice again?
Michigan State had
Michigan
to lose
State.
twice. And then that would have resulted in having a 3-way tie. Or no, we would have beaten Ohio State, and then it would have just been us and Ohio State, because then Michigan State would not have been in that 3-way tie.
Mhm.
And they lost to Purdue. And then I think it was the next week they played Ohio State, the week before we played Ohio State. And so we needed Ohio State to win. So I gave Michigan State signals to a buddy of mine and said, hey, I changed all the logos. I made it look like it came from a different school. I don't want to give Ohio State something from Michigan, right? They might not use it. Who knows? But we need Ohio State to win. And I know they steal the crap out of defensive signals. So here you go. So I gave it to a buddy who may have given it to a buddy who then gave it to Ohio State and said,
Classic game of telephone.
Yep, I got this from so-and-so at, name your school university.
Mhm.
And so they got, I'm sure they probably already had them, but it just confirmed everything. But
Mhm.
yeah, and then they won like 60-0.
And that's all you needed.
Yep.
Does in this world of trading, does anybody ever trade their own school's information?
I have no idea. That'd be crazy, but you never know.
Right, because I'm assuming
Trade their own school's information.
right,
I
I'm
mean-
assuming not everybody was as massive a fan of the school they worked for like you were. So I know that just like corrupt politicians,
Yeah.
I'm sure some
I wouldn't put
guys-
it past certain people.
I'm going to throw one out there.
Go ahead.
Linebacker coach got fired last year, yeah? Or he resigned and then
He
went to
got-
Bama?
Fired. then
that.
went to
No,
Naval.
that was 2 years ago. Coach
No,
Hilo.
that was last year.
No, that was
2023.
last year.
No, but so it was at the end of 2022. He wasn't at Michigan during the 23 season.
Wasn't somebody at Michigan during last year
Not during the season.
and their computer kind of got found, grenade the computer, and then they went to Alabama?
Mm-mm. That you're mixing stories right now.
Okay.
Can you help differentiate the stories?
Would that, I mean,
George Hilo was a linebacker coach in 2022. He was not at Michigan in 23 and then was hired by Bama before our game. So
But
he was
yeah.
11 months removed or whatever.
got you.
I don't know. Don't quote me on exactly
Right,
the months,
right,
but
Right. And you assume the reason why he was hired by Alabama right before. the
well, yeah.
Michigan
Why
game.
wouldn't you have hired him earlier in the year?
Right, because Alabama was trying to cheat. I'll say it. We
I mean, it's
still
just
got
like
him.
in the NFL, if somebody
Yeah.
if I were to be playing for Washington, I get cut, and then
Yep.
the Eagles bring me in right away, and they
Yep.
want to just know what's
How do
going
they
on.
operate?
Yeah, how do they
What's-
operate?
Yeah.
playbook,
Oh, you're
yeah.
100%. You're squealing like a pig.
Oh yeah. When
Absolutely.
I came to the Titans, I was in the offensive room with LaFleur and them breaking down Washington defense, how we played cover one and how we did things in the red zone, how we played triangle when it was a 3-by-1, like all that stuff. You want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you want to win.
I want to keep breaking down this crazy underground world of trading different teams' information. When did you become aware of this?
2018.
2018 is when you
So,
found out there's
Because
a
at Navy, no one ever really talked to me from other
Yeah, he's
schools.
at Navy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Leave Navy
you guys
alone.
want help? Like, we're good. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's all good, bro.
Appreciate you.
You guys just
Uh,
got killed.
yeah, yeah. You guys didn't steal shit.
Yeah.
It's 2018. It was after the regular season. I think it was after the regular season. I got a call, someone asking for some stuff on some certain teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, wait, what?
What teams?
What teams were calling about what teams?
Again, I shouldn't rat anyone.
Okay. We're going to take a quick moment and interrupt this episode. This football season, don't walk around with helmet hair like a total rookie. You've been in the game long enough to know that how you wear your hair matters. And just because your team's mascot is a Wolverine doesn't mean you should look like one up top. Keep your head in the game and go to Sport Clips. They are pro stylists that have mastered the X's and O's of men's hair so you can get a tight fade while kicking back and watching some fade routes on TV. They'll have a perfectly crafted game plan to make you look your best. No halftime adjustments needed. Remember, the difference between an okay cut and a great cut is called Sport Clips. It is a game changer. Back to this episode.
Pee breaks have been taken by Connor and by Will. I had this protein bar, and I'm gonna give a shameless shout out real quick, dude, to Alpha 10. Is that what it is? Alpha 10. No free shout outs. However, this is like a mom and pop shop type thing taken off in Nashville, Tennessee. Very delicious. Sticks to your teeth. Coats the throat. Coats the throat. I need to have a sip of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's been so much. Obviously, the landscape of college football and how you do play calling has changed so much. And a lot of it has to do with what happened last year with Michigan and everything like that. That people are pointing fingers at you.
I don't think anything is people didn't people in football didn't change much.
Yeah.
That's just the media perception.
So, but because now they're going to the comps.
Helmet
Is it,
comms,
so
yeah.
is it much more difficult to steal
So
signs now?
it's actually signal stealing is happening more now. So remember I explained the whole, how it evolved, how it works,
Mm-hmm.
and the difference between the NFL and college. It's just because of the tempo. NFL teams still signal some. Not all the time, but like if they ever want to go tempo, they signal.
Yeah, if you go tempo, you got to signal. If you go 2
Right.
minute, you got to signal.
Sometimes it's the coach to the quarterback, and then the quarterback signals to the receivers and tells everyone in the core. Or some teams have signalers on the sideline that are ready to signal anytime they want to go tempo. That's the league though. College, now that new helmet communications, it's not a rule, right? It's not a mandate. It's just a feature. It's a tool. So now coaches can talk to the quarterbacks. That doesn't mean they have to signal, or that doesn't mean they have to huddle or that they want to huddle. So what's happening now, and this isn't for everyone, but a lot of teams are doing this, is now they are continuing to go up tempo and they are stealing the defensive signal, and now they can just talk to the quarterback up until 15 seconds and tell them exactly what's coming. So, hey, they're blitzing the nickel, they're dropping the boundary end, throw the slant to the slot, whatever it is. Now you can do that. There's already, I'm not going to say who, it's not a Big Ten school, but there's already been a team that has had Bluetooth to the quarterback for years.
No shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
A
Can I
big
guess a
time. Hang on.
conference?
I'm not
Big
even.
Time
I'm
team?
not going to tell you
Is it
if
a
you're
Big Time
warmer or
team?
colder. It's just not in the Big Ten.
Are
It's a big time team.
It's a power 4, power 5. What do you want to call it? Team.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Is it
Yeah.
irrelevant?
So like, why? The officials aren't going to check to see if there's Bluetooth because in 99% of people's minds, you would only have Bluetooth to huddle up. When in reality, you have Bluetooth to tell the QB what the defensive signal is. Now that's happening a lot. So it's funny. I've gotten phone calls from teams asking if I still have so-and-so signals and whatnot.
Really?
And I'm not even, technically in it right now. Technically. And then, I have gone to every Michigan game, and everyone we played has signaled
Really?
on offense.
And you're still sitting. up there.
Minnesota did not.
You're
They
still,
didn't last year either,
You're
but everyone
still
else
sitting
has.
in the stands.
Yeah.
And you can see the signal caller, and so you essentially know what's happening.
When I'm at the Michigan games now, I'm just there to enjoy it. I'm obviously aware enough to see, they're signaling. And for example, like USC, when we played USC, it's the Lincoln Riley offense. It's the same as his brother Garrett Riley when he was at TCU and now Clemson. I was even remembering some of the stuff. I'm like, oh wait, isn't this?
Yeah.
This is just all go special, and it was right. They're not changing their signals. Maybe a few, but like Texas, they signaled every single play the whole game. Again, it's we're definitely at a disadvantage now because we don't have our signal guy and everyone else has theirs. So it goes back to that cat mouse game. So
You've not become the mouse in every situation.
unless you make sure you signal second. So
And there's
we
no.
need to make sure we're doing that if we're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you seeing out of Michigan this year? What do you think the issue is? Outside of not having a quarterback.
Well, you have 15 guys or whatever that we lost the league, right? Like that's not easy.
18.
Yeah. Okay. And then you lose your strength coach, your entire defensive staff, you're obviously your head coach. It's gonna be a step back. It's not that easy to maintain success when that happens. Yeah, I think I watched your video yesterday. I'm still optimistic too.
Good.
And
The video I told you not to watch. I told nobody to watch.
Correct.
I was just putting it out
game
there
at
on
a
the internet
time.
for people just to have.
Correct. I heard someone else watching it.
Yeah,
Um,
good. Stole that.
Yep. And I think one, the bye week couldn't come at any better time.
Mhm.
It's a well-timed bye week. There's a lot of parity in college football this year. A lot. That must be a product of NIL and the portal in full effect now. But other than Texas and I guess Ohio State, they did beat Iowa, but has anyone else looked really good every single
Right.
week?
Right. In your opinion, you feel like, because you were on that side of it, you were also in recruiting, do you feel like Michigan is doing what they need to do in the whole portal game with the NIL and everything else?
Yeah, I think the issue with the portal that a lot of people are voicing their opinions now, and they're upset about, why did we not get someone at this position and that position? Well, the portal was closed by the time, something's got to happen in college football, because if you make the playoffs, you are screwed for the portal for the following season, because the portal time frame is while you're prepping for the playoffs. So your players aren't announcing if they're leaving or not. So how do you recruit a guy and convince him to come to Michigan when that guy, for all he knows, is like, well, so-and-so isn't leaving? And how do you tell him, no, he is going to leave? But then what if he doesn't leave? And that's not on the kid either. Like JJ, for example, you can't expect him to make an announcement during the playoffs about if he's going to go to the league or not.
Right.
He's not thinking about that. Right. He's just in the moment. And that's who he is. Right. And that's also who he should be for the team in that moment. But he's not, maybe there's backdoor conversations with his family, but he's not going to make some announcement saying, hey, I'm going to leave after this game. So that's a issue, the timing of everything. Because then it's like, are they students or are they athletes? Because the semester starting in January is really why the portal, from my understanding, why the portal closes at that time. And then it just opens up for a couple of days, but everyone that you would want is usually
it's
already
at the first
committed
wave of
somewhere
free
else.
agency.
Yeah.
All the best players are gone now.
Yep.
You're getting the tier 2, tier 3 guys.
Yeah.
So, Sharon is definitely the man for the job.
Sharon is the
And
best, man.
He is an elite leader. Everyone loves him. Great dude. Loves football. Like, I remember, if it's 1 a.m. and you're on your grind, watching film, whatever you're doing, and you go to the bathroom or you go get water, whatever, and come back, and he was always one of the 3 people that were there that late.
Still grinding.
Yes.
Still about it.
All about it.
So, it seems like they're gonna have a chance to do the portal this year, not making the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs,
Correct.
we'll have time.
Correct.
We'll be able to reload for next year, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Now, is anybody sitting in the seat you were sitting in last year at Michigan now? They don't have that anymore.
With the signals?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
What else outside of signals? Obviously, you're known for being the signal master, but I think
know.
everyone understands that signal stealing is like you're trying to gain whatever advantage you can. Like every locker room, every meeting I've been in, you're trying to break down whether it's coaches' copy or TV copies. You got somebody up there giving a presentation on signals. Whatever you do with it is ultimately up to you. It depends on how much information you can retain. But what else outside of the spectrum of signals was kind of like your bread and butter? Was it like 2-minute drills or situations in there?
Yeah, one of the beauties at Michigan, Coach Harbaugh hired a great staff to recruit great players. And he just empowered his staff. So there was a lot of overlap between it wasn't like if on paper I'm a recruiting guy, I wasn't only doing recruiting, right? Or if you're a defensive analyst, you're not only breaking down third down or people helping each other out a lot, filling in gaps when needed. But during the season, it was, a little bit of recruiting, mostly, I was in every defensive staff meeting, we were, your game planning. I'm breaking down film, prepping linebacker meetings for Coach Partridge. So, because it's a race, right? Like the thing that people don't realize is I know you guys realize it, but from Sunday morning to kickoff on Saturday, it's literally who can prepare faster than their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And, the linebacker coach, for example, should not be the guy that is going in and finding the specific clips for the meeting. He's the one coaching the clips. You are going through, so I would go through the film and pick out, what he wanted for the linebacker meeting, for example, stuff like that. And also breaking down opponents. So like I was mentioning, that formation tendencies, stuff like that, because Monday for the linebackers might be, first and second down. What do they do on first and second down?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays may be, short yardage goal line. Wednesdays might be third and long, whatever it is, however you break that down. And so I would prepare the meetings for the backers, every day. And then, the signal stuff, because that was, again, it was just a portion of the job, is something I just did anytime I didn't have, I had some free time to, okay, we're done prepping for linebacker meetings, practices in an hour. I'm gonna crank out an hour of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to finish that by Tuesdays, usually Wednesday, and then give myself 2 days to memorize everything, memorize my sheet, feel comfortable with it. And, the tough part is this goes for everyone though, right? Because again, you play your opponent and then you're done. So for me, it was play your opponent. I'm not kidding. Maybe with the exception of like Ohio State and Michigan State, I might remember a few, but an hour after the game, I could not tell you a single signal that I just remembered for that game, because it's on to whoever
You're
your next
on to the
opponent
next
is,
one.
right?
Just
Like I don't
completely
care
on the next-
about
being as present as possible.
Yes. So, and usually I would try to get a couple days ahead. So like if let's just say, let's say I were there now and we're playing Illinois in a couple weeks after the bye, and then who's after them? Michigan State.
Yeah.
So I would try to finish Illinois. Well, pretend there's no bye week. Pretend we're in Illinois week right now. I would try to finish them by Tuesday, maybe Wednesday at the latest. And then by Thursday morning, it's like two separate mind frames where one, I am calmly memorizing my sheet for the Illinois game and also getting ahead with Michigan State so I can finish them by the following Tuesday. Because I always want to give myself a couple days to, as I'm sure everyone does, for everything they do, whether it be coordinating, play calling, or coaching your position, or being an actual player. Like you want to at least you don't want to be like racing all the way up until kickoff and your mind's going 1,000 different directions. So that is kind of how I scheduled everything for myself.
Like during the week, you say like in the league, it would be like Wednesday would be like first and second down. Thursday would be all third down type
and
stuff.
Then
then the red zone and stuff like that. But we'd have assistant coaches like Mike Sullivan would always break down in front of the entire offense. These are the blitzes these teams do. Did you ever get to sit in front of the entire defense? And
no, because I was an analyst, and up until this year, analysts could not do like on field, could not instruct players or anything like that.
Yeah.
You could only assist the coaches. So I would prepare, like I would help Coach Partridge, for example, if he had short yardage goal line, I would help him prepare the clips for that and the organization of that meeting. Yeah.
Were there a couple defensive players that gravitated toward all the information and knowledge you had of the X's and O's?
I mean the
guys that understand it in the details.
Yeah, a lot of the players. I mean, even like Mikey Sainer still is. I mean, I've learned some of the defense from him. Like some of these, these guys are really smart, great leaders. Mikey's probably the best non-military leader I've ever been around.
Really?
Yes, he is. He's that guy. I mean, he started as a receiver, and then flashbacks. He had that nice catch, that diving catch in Lincoln, Nebraska, that night game. as a receiver. And then the very next year changes to nickel, and he's our starting nickel and one of the best nickels in the country, just like that. But I mean, he's a guy that he led by example, and he was not afraid to check anyone. But I mean, I was close with a lot of the players because this is like a brotherhood. You know, I was like 27 years old, 28
Right.
years old at the time, and they're anywhere from 18 to 23. So like I'm closer in age to them than they are to the coach, like the full-time coaches. So yeah, I was pretty close with the majority of the team. It truly was like a family atmosphere where, I mean, everyone got along with everyone. And that goes back to Coach Harbaugh hiring a great staff and that great staff recruiting just the right people.
I know we're getting kind of close to that hour 30 mark right now. I had a question about EXOS, and I heard a rumor that there was pirating videos going on from EXOS, the film company.
The software, yeah.
That was actually taking Michigan's practice film and giving it to other Big Ten teams. Do you have any knowledge of that at all?
I don't know what EXO's role would be or
Allegedly,
not be in
EXOS.
that.
This is allegedly.
Yeah, well, most teams, have EXOs. There's DV Sport too. All I'll say is I have seen other Big Ten schools' signals. I'm talking the original signal film that was like a GA doing the signals in the quarterback room, right? Like the players would have on Catapult to study. I've seen other teams' signals of that the people who showed me that claim they got it from Ohio State.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I've seen that with my own eyes.
So people that have the play calls.
Like Ohio State, for example, may have traded that to someone for a different team's signals or whatnot. And that someone
May have
shown me, dude, you better be careful because look at what they got. And I'm like, holy cow.
They made you aware of it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's probably illegal, right?
I'm not a lawyer.
I have a question. Your manifesto, what was the foundation of it? Like for you, philosophy wise, like how did you start building out the manifesto? Obviously from military background, you talked about the coaches in the past, but you yourself putting this thing together, like what foundation was it built off of?
The best way to explain that is it's organized how I would organize a football program, which is very military-like in like a chain of command, like a staff org chart, or usually in groups of 3 where like you have the head coach and headquarters, and then under them you have the football staff, the operations staff, and so on. Within the football staff, that would be like anything related to football itself. So I break that into 3 different categories. Personnel, so scouting, recruiting. The actual X's and O's, so offense, defense, special teams. And then player performance, which is strength and conditioning, trainers and stuff like that, nutrition. And then each of those has a broken down subcategory. So if you gave me a thought on like, hey, I saw this really good thing that such and such a school was doing with their nutrition program, I would just go boom, 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 boom. There's the nutrition section, and I got all my organized notes, and I'd put it in there. And if you were to ask me, how would you run how would the logistics work for your operations department? Give me 5 seconds, I'll show you. Boom, 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 and then there's all my notes on that. And that's kind of, it's a really good book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. It's about how, in order to actually apply something that you learn or see, or whether it be a quote or, something from a book, something from a movie, something from a conversation, you have to first be able to capture it. So write it down. Mm-hmm. Then you have to take that captured thought and be able to organize it. That's like my organized notes, the Michigan Manifesto. Mm-hmm. and then you have to be able to reference it though. So that's the beauty of if you're super organized, then I can always go back to that. Like, for example, if I read a book on leadership, for example, there might be a quote about something that's not necessarily specifically, leadership. It might be about, there could be a some football quote or something. And you got to be able to, every time I read a book, I read the book, take all my notes, and then I go through the book again, and everything I highlighted or underlined or wrote, I put that where it belongs in the manifesto. So then I can reference it without having to remember what book was that from. It was a quote about football, but it was in a leadership book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I just go to the football section and there's the quote.
I couldn't dream to be this organized. I could not.
And the beauty of it too is I can talk about that. I probably never give away the Michigan Manifesto, but I can talk about it and no one will be able to duplicate it because I'm already 15 years ahead.
Right. How
like, good luck.
Gotta juicy up, man.
How did it develop over the years?
It went
Is it
from
just
the binder
adding from the organization?
Yeah. And it's a Google Doc now, and you say like, how many pages is it? I can't give you an exact number because I found this out the hard way. A Google Doc can't go over 1,000 pages. So it's multiple Google Docs.
Nice.
No shit, dude.
Yeah.
God, how often do you go back and read it and be like, okay, this is different now, this is different now? Like nutrition, for instance. If you take something 5 years ago that someone said about nutrition, that's ever evolving.
Yeah, it's just, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. Yeah. And I try to visit it at least weekly, try to daily. But, like if, I've been traveling the last few days, I haven't been on it. But what I do, like, so at the Michigan-Washington game, during the game, I have my notes up, not the actual Google Docs, but just my notes app. And I'm just taking notes on everything I see. Like, I was at the Seahawks game this Sunday too. So anytime I'm at a game or watching a game and I see a play I like, or, a situation like, this is bad flashbacks, but 2011 4th and inches in East Lansing, and we run a play fake. And, I just remembered that yesterday watching the Seahawks Giants game, thinking like, 4th and inches, if I'm ever a coordinator, I don't want to call a play where the quarterback's back is to the defense on 4th and inches, unless he's given the ball. But it's just so risky. But anyway, that just triggered that thought from 2011. So I write that down in my notes, and then tonight when I get back, I will put that exactly where it belongs in the manifesto. So then whenever I'm a coordinator, I already have that in the 4th and short section to always reference and remind myself.
Yeah, your memory is shaky.
The manifesto, did you give it the name manifesto, or was that by the media?
So that was, it was just like my notes. And I think it was during COVID when people didn't know if football was going to be happening or not. And a couple buddies of mine and I had these Zooms just talking ball, staying fresh in football. And I remember kind of introducing it to one of them, and he's like, this is like a manifesto. And so we just kind of jokingly called it the Michigan Manifesto. And then obviously the media ran with it, Dave ran with it, and I guess I now have to call it the Michigan Manifesto.
It is infamous.
It is.
For sure.
Awesome,
you've got to, whenever you've decided, okay, I'm done doing the manifesto, you need to print that out hard copy and then just frame it somewhere. Just a book.
But there's never an end to the Michigan Manifesto.
It never
How could there be an end?
That was a dumb statement. It never
You win a
ends.
national championship. There's already a section in there. This is like a Sabanism, right? Like where
You could start doing it like encyclopedias. You can have like a volume 1.
Yeah.
I already have 9 volumes.
Do you?
He said, I already have 9 volumes.
Yes.
Are you just doing AI up here, Sherm? He's just been popping up different AI pictures that he's decided to make.
I mean, you saw the recruiting, the scouting map in the documentary.
Yeah. Did you see that?
I did not.
So it's a map of the United States, and it's where every single draft pick, right?
Every draft pick. So basically what I did was, again, I can say this because, well, now you could probably hire some AI or you could do whatever now and probably catch you up on this, but it's just the concept. This is just one of, hundreds of concepts in the manifesto where, you know, people always talk about states. Like, what's the best state for recruiting?
Yeah.
Is it Georgia? Is it Florida? Is it Texas? Is it California? And I just kind of realized, why are we talking about states? It's literally something that Lewis and Clark drew back in the 1800s. Why would you recruit based on some state boundaries that were drawn a couple hundred years ago? So what I did was I plotted every single draft pick. I took the Google map layer like off where you couldn't even tell where you were. And I just plotted everyone. And then I just drew my own little regions around where the mass people were and just kind of went from there. Because, like, you know, when people say Florida is great, well, it's mostly Fort Lauderdale, Miami, right? When people say California, it's mostly LA and the Bay Area. Texas, mainly Dallas, Houston. Yes, there are certain states like Georgia and Texas where it is more spread out, but I just kind of figured, well, you know, why? And it's by position too. Now, I'm not going to give away which positions and which sub regions are worth recruiting more than others. But yeah, there's definitely like certain regions are hotbeds for certain positions.
So what's the best state for recruiting? What's the best region?
Region, Miami.
Miami's the best region. How's Arizona?
State?
How does Arizona hold up?
I mean, if you weren't there, then it wouldn't be as great.
That is exactly how I wanted you to answer
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that's how I wanted you to answer, but that's what I needed to hear.
But, you know, I think Georgia is probably the best state where if you just close your eyes and put your finger anywhere on the state of Georgia, you're close to a player that's been drafted.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's
I've loved
extremely
every minute of
informative.
this. I've loved every minute of this.
We got a couple sections. We got Twisted Question and then Tier Talk. I think we have multiple Tier Talks. One that we're just going to give to you, but the Twisted Question. You want to pop up that ad?
Absolutely.
All right. Guess what the Twisted Question is sponsored by?
Twisted Tea.
That is correct, sir. A refreshing hard iced tea made with real
He's
brewed tea and
teachable.
5% alcohol, full of flavor and very refreshing. Twisted Tea goes down smooth, but there is no carbonation. It makes it easy to drink all day long. Twisted Tea feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day. It is the perfect alcohol for game day, whether tailgating in a parking lot, watching at a bar, or watching with friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted. Grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. Our Twisted Tea is brought to us, as always, by Mitch Carsley, bandwagon Ohio State fan.
I don't think that was necessary. All right, this twisted question comes from Greg Hohenstein at GregHo48 on Instagram.
Shout out Greg Ho 48.
Your best Big Ten super team versus your best SEC super team. Who's on it and who is winning?
Man, I could be the wrong person to ask here because I can't. It's not like I can sit here and think of all the players. Like, just throw in, you know, one of the '90s Nebraska teams. I think you're going to be pretty good.
But is that a Big Ten team, though?
They are now.
Yeah, but they weren't
like-
Big Ten
you like
then.
pick-
Right, they
choose
weren't Big Ten
players.
then.
All right, so we'll start at quarterback. Who's representing the Big Ten?
We're completely creating our team from scratch.
Yeah, you
we're not
can-
saying like Georgia 21.
You're like picking players
Oh,
like
gosh,
Joe Burrow.
this is-
Yeah, it's
take
going to
a
be
while.
tough. Man.
Yeah, that's a very long-winded, twisted question.
Can we just got to go like the best O-line, the best
Yeah.
receiver core, maybe?
Okay.
Let's
Just to
Start with the
speed it
Big
up.
Ten.
All right, Big Ten quarterback.
I mean,
Tom
O-line,
Brady.
you're using one of the Michigan ones recently, yeah?
Yeah.
O-line, yeah. 22 Michigan
Even the
O-line.
GOAT, JP?
2022 Michigan
Maybe
O-line.
23.
The man.
They
Which
didn't.
one
They
you think's
technically
better?
didn't win. We didn't win the Joe Moore Award last year, but that was probably because they just felt bad because we won it twice in a row.
First time we ever won it twice in a row.
But I would
So-
say that
so
I could say that O-line. I'd get
You
behind
could
that
say
O-line.
last year.
What, the
yeah.
2020?
Are we working on this together?
Yeah, we'll work on
we
this
have
together.
to. There's no way the three of us are going to do.
So we'll say that O-line. I hate saying this, but it's got to be one of the Ohio State receiving corps recently. No.
Yeah, but I mean,
With old Marvin Harrison Jr.
dude.
Well,
uh,
if you're going to pick
Ajabo.
them, then you got to pick Michigan's DBs, though,
Yeah.
right?
So we're just Ohio State and Michigan so far. So, what's that? CJ Stroud might be.
But this is all time.
Drew
You know,
Brees.
I do. You know, I respect CJ. Good guy. He didn't
Great
beat Michigan
player.
though.
He didn't beat Michigan.
couldn't beat Michigan.
Go JT Barrett then.
He said you go
JT Barrett. Yeah, they had three. They had Dwayne and all three of those guys right back to back to back.
Yeah, this is way harder than I expected it to be.
Troy Smith too.
You want to put Kittle at tight end?
What?
JP, grab the. You can do the SEC team.
Are they keeping track of this? I mean, you got to have Joe Burrow. Nah, I don't know. Cam Newton though, his 2010 season.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel.
Superman. Johnny.
You guys do the SEC. We'll do the Big Ten.
Best Big Ten QBRs listed all time. We might be able to go by position.
Yeah, we do.
The number one greatest running back of all time in the Big Ten. I'm looking at Archie Griffin, Ohio State.
The only two-time Heisman winner of all time.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's big. That's big for the Big Ten.
Okay, so we'll take him. We'll take him. Let me look at. I'll do line. I'm gonna do linebackers.
I'm almost assuming like again.
And is this while they were in college?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we just do a defense.
Because for linebackers, you can always pick like a Penn State squad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When they had
Yeah.
but you probably want to go
LeVar Arrington.
What,
Yeah,
last
but
year's Michigan defense.
If you're going full defense.
Yeah, if you're going full defense,
I mean,
handle Alabama. Handle. This is a way harder question than I
this
wanted
is
it to be.
insanely
very
hard.
difficult.
Yeah. Should we pass?
we might have
Is
to
there a
punt.
backup question?
Let's
might-
just no.
we might
Let's
have
just
to- we
punt.
might
It's
have
just
to
too
punt.
much. Just too much brain
We might have to
power.
punt. We might have to punt.
So you
I'm
just-
gonna
you
look
just
up
take
best
this
Big
out?
Ten punters of all time.
That's our player.
Zoltan Mesko.
Zoltan Mesko. Zoltan's one of the first players I met at Michigan, and they made like
Ray Guy.
He got way too much
Yeah.
playing time.
Ray Guy.
Dude, he
Punted too
when
much.
that
Ray Guy.
indoor was first made in
Yeah.
2009. He walked out and they're like, "Oh, it's big enough to where a punter can't hit it." His
And he hit
first
it
punt
right
without
away, yeah.
warming up hit the top.
Yeah.
It was like the most deflating. The Al Glick Fieldhouse.
Oh yeah, we talking some Mumford real quick?
Yeah, we can talk Mumford. We'll wait till these boys they find out that we're punting on this. So Mumford.
I mean, you got Charles Woodson.
Yeah, we'll take him, I guess. I'm kind of just over the question.
It's
To be honest with you, I'm
We'd
not.
be here all day.
Yeah, we'd be here.
It'd be a whole nother
It's way
podcast
too
on
long. Yeah, this is literally an entire episode. It's like, let's just figure out the best all-time conference teams.
I actually have a question for him.
About Mumford?
No, not Mumford. Go ahead, stick on Mumford because
Mumford,
I got
What's the
some-
question? I won't forget about Mumford. You keep that picture up. I'm not going to forget.
What's the question?
Give me 3 coaches you feel like you've learned the most from in
3
real
coaches
time,
I've
not like
learned-
Wood and people you were inspired by and everything.
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Guys, we punted on this question.
Twisted question.
Oh, good, because our tight end was nasty.
3 coaches.
SECs?
3 coaches he's learned the most from.
But we're punting on it.
Yeah, 3 coaches he's learned the most from. That's added value to the manifesto. Big value.
That's actually, yeah, that's probably the best way to
yeah.
ask that too. Kenny Matalolo, Navy head coach, now at San Jose State.
Mm-hmm.
Winningest head coach in Navy football history. Chris Partridge. And I got 2 in mind for this 3rd spot. It's either Jay Harbaugh or Mike McDonald.
Which
And
one?
ironically, all of those guys are in Seattle. I'd say Jay. I've spent more time around Jay.
Mm-hmm. Those are the 3
And
that have
he-
added to the manifesto the most.
Yeah, just from observing them and asking them questions and picking their brains.
How many coaches knew you had this manifesto going?
Not
Not like manifesto, like the fun, creativity
Yeah,
part, but like
I
actually
think a
you
lot
knew-
of people just kind of knew I was very organized and had a bunch of notes and pulled out ideas.
Was
from-
any coach like curious, like, hey, have you been logging everything? Like, let's see this organization. They kind of bought into
I
it.
think
just
every
as
coach
much.
has their own system of notes, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not as organized, but I don't think people really think about it as much because they just kind of write down their note. Now, once they realize, wait, maybe they're interviewing for a next job up or whatever, and they need to organize everything. That's why I go back to like vision, the concept of vision itself. Like when you picture yourself as that, you just start from the beginning like that. So you just organize everything as if you're the head coach, and then you're ready for anything.
I love it too, man.
Should we do tier talk? And then I have one final question
We
involving
got to get Mumford a shot. I skipped.
Yeah.
Mumford.
Let's talk about Mumford.
Yeah.
So the boys they got themselves a
We
W.
won our first game in a long, long time.
Let's give a shout out to Mumford. And you say a long, long
You were
time.
going
How
viral
long
about
had it
getting
been?
dusted. Like, let's
I'm
check in on
aware.
Conor Stalions. They just took an ass whooping like 60 to
Yeah,
nothing.
we also play like Cass Tech and everything. Okay.
Castech is like the school in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mumford, you said it's been a long, long time since you guys got a W. How
I
long?
think they won one game last year, none the year before, and 2 the year before that, something like that.
So
it's been rough.
So you resigned from Michigan, and Mumford calls up and says, "Please, for the love of God, do something for us." Is that how it happened?
I know the head coach,
Mm.
and he asked if I wanted to be the DC, and then it just kind of evolved. We only have like 4 coaches, so
And you're thinking to yourself, what a challenge.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how big his
No
eyes
doubt.
got?
Yeah, I
He's
get
like,
the- yeah.
no fucking doubt.
Yeah.
What an op! How has the defense gotten better since you gotten there?
We all kind of coach everything, so I'm coaching all sides of the ball.
Yeah, all 3
And,
phases.
Yeah. And for example, we have 2 offensive linemen in the entire program.
No shit.
2?
Yep. So
Well, you have 2 players
It's-
that play offensive line in the entire program.
we have 2 true offensive linemen. So like our tight end, Norman Adams,
Shout out,
could
Norman.
shout out to Norman, could be a very recruitable tight end, had to take one for the team, and he's our left tackle.
Oh no!
It gets better, guys. It gets
Oh
better.
my
Gotta
god,
bring
Lane
him
Johnson. Lane Johnson. That happened
Yep.
to him.
So last week, every day it's like playing Tetris with the depth chart, and our starting slot had to be our right guard in the game we won.
The right guard?
Yep,
Oh
stepped up.
my God.
Nate, shout out to Nate.
Shout out
stepped
to
up,
Nate.
played right guard,
Yeah.
got the dub. We ran the ball every play except one.
All right. So, you got
Okay.
it comes with its own challenges.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges
Yes.
involved.
Yeah.
A lot of challenges, and it's really turned into guys taking sacrifices, right? Like, hey, some guys wake up one day thinking they're going to be the slot receiver, getting some carries, and then they find themselves starting as the right guard
In the trenches.
in the trenches.
That is crazy.
What
Now-
have you enjoyed most about the high school level?
How easy the signs are to steal.
No, there hasn't been a single sign.
Oh, really?
We right. Obviously, we have some challenges. We have 2 offensive linemen. I mean, I could stop right there. So you got to be able to manipulate tempo, right, to your advantage. So, and I can talk about this. I mean, no one's gonna have an answer for it. So, we with 2 offensive linemen, what do? Well, we do a lot of. I don't even know what you want to call it. It's not even tackle over. It's like everyone over.
So you just take the
Right.
2 offensive line, like, hey, you're going to play on the left side this snap.
No, like the center's the last guy on the line and everyone else is over there. But you can't just line up like that. You can't just give them 15 seconds to adjust. So
Right.
we use like 5 or 6 different tempos where, one of them is a speed break huddle. So we'll speed break to overloading one side and snapping the ball in 3 seconds. Like, you're not going to be able to adjust to that in 3 seconds.
No.
We'll speed break into like pods where we have just the center and quarterback, 5 guys over there, 4 guys over there. If you don't match your numbers, we're snapping it and getting it out. And we got a 75-yard touchdown last week on that. And the refs threw a flag for 12 men on the field. And I told our guys, stay on the field. I'm yelling at the ref, count them. What do you mean 12 on the field? And they count them, and then they go and have this meeting for like 10 minutes. Like, what are they talking about? There's 11 on the field. There's been 11 on the field. And then all of a sudden they change it from 12 on the field to 5 in the backfield.
They're like,
Like,
look, we're idiots
how-
right now. How do we get out of this?
Michigan State fans. They saw you and they're like,
Probably.
we gotta make sure this guy doesn't have success anywhere now.
Yeah, but no. So we utilize tempo to our advantage, and then we'll go fast. We'll go fast tempo and run a play real quick, and then we'll just go regular old tempo, take our time. Everything's on a wristband. They look at it, boom, they get lined up, they run it, and then we'll go fast again, but we'll hard count, get them to jump, first down. So we, it's like we had like a 10-minute drive. We didn't even score. The half ended. But like, hey, best defense is not even being on the field.
Yeah.
We had a 10-minute drive, didn't even score. The half ended. That is so funny.
Yeah.
So the boys, what's your record right now?
We're 1-0 starting this last week.
Let's go 1-0. Boys are 1-0. I love it.
We got 3 games left, and we actually could squeak into the playoffs if we win these
what
last.
Kind of league
these
you
last
guys
4
dealing
games.
with?
Well, we're Division 3, so we actually just beat a Division 1 team.
Big time.
Big time, right?
Got to get the kids. We got to get kids eligible. We got to get kids ready. We got to get kids to buy into the program.
Yes, and it is, and I don't blame them. It's been tough, right? It's a big culture shock, and when our first 3 games were against like 3 juggernauts. And when they haven't won in a long time, you don't say this, but you kind of go in, it's like being a MAC school playing, Alabama or whatever. And, you're prepping like crazy, but you're not shocked if you don't win. Right.
Yeah.
And then week 4, week 5, it was way more winnable games. We were in them, and it's just like, we just got to get that win to help with the buy-in. And now that we got it, these guys are bought in.
Right.
Got
to get another one against Southeastern next week.
Big game on the road.
Everybody show up.
Yeah.
Listen right now, you're
loud.
in the area.
How is the student section from Mumford? Damn, dude. Is Chandler Park Academy? Are they?
That's
solid?
homecoming.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't think that's a road game. No, it's supposed to be a home game.
Okay.
Looks like
it's
a home game.
Right now, the website is
homecoming.
wrong. It says at.
I think so. A lot of these scores are wrong too, by the way. There's one 30-0. Renaissance scored 3 times. How do you get 30 points in 3 scores? Or maybe it was
3 scores and a safety.
They had 4 touchdowns, but
That is hilarious.
we were
Look at
4
all
for
the-
4
all
on
the
2-point
goose
conversion.
eggs.
I mean, Cas Tech is like my freshman
Yeah.
year. There was like
And that's
10
Jordan
dudes.
Lewis.
Yeah.
That whole
That was
Mike Weber.
Were you guys scoreless up until the last week?
We scored in the first game.
Okay. That's
But hey,
so
shout out
funny.
Mumford, dude.
Yeah, shout out
Mumford.
Mumford.
That's
out
awesome.
Mumford.
That's all time. I'll get this last question in, then we can go tier talk, and then we'll close shop here.
Okay.
So there's obviously a lot of things that you are alleged doing legally, illegally with that.
Well, nothing illegal.
You're allegedly, people are saying.
NCAA bylaws.
Right.
Nothing against the Constitution.
Right. Nothing against the Constitution. So there's a lot of things that people are saying that you did.
Yep.
Who else in the Big Ten are you aware of are doing the same things you're being accused of doing?
I'm not there, so I don't want to say exactly this is what this team's doing, this is what that team's doing. But there's a lot of Big Ten teams who are, at that level. It's Ohio State, Rutgers, I believe Penn State, Indiana's really good. Those are probably the top 4 in the Big Ten we're all on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does just for Will Compton's sake, where does Nebraska
They're
rank in this type of category?
I'd say they're how many tiers are we talking here? Like if you just say 5 tiers, they're probably tier 2, tier 3. They're not bad. They're good at protecting, so they got to know at least something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
You want to be around that tier 2, tier 3 range.
Yeah.
In your time, obviously, we've already figured out that you know who Ohio State's Conor Stalions is. Did you ever trade information with them?
Again, the only time was not directly. I gave something to give to someone, to give to someone, to give to him, to help him.
Did they ever
To
give
have
anything
them
to you?
win so you could
To
be
have
in
them
it,
beat
yeah.
Michigan State, to help them.
Did they? Did they ever approach? Did anybody from Ohio State ever approach you about future teams or anything like that, or was it kind of like we just
No.
don't talk to each other?
No.
0%.
Yeah.
And Ohio State had the OG signals from somebody.
Yeah, I mean they definitely were utilizing stolen signals well before we were. Definitely.
So you're aware of Dave
That goes
Portnoy.
back to the 2018, 2019.
You're aware of Dave Portnoy and his champagne bottles.
What about him?
Are you aware of them?
No.
So Dave has all of his biggest enemies in the world. He has champagne bottles, and when they fall, he opens that champagne bottle and he drinks it.
Who would be your number one champagne bottle?
Team?
Life, person,
Sure,
human, anybody.
It's got to be Ryan Day, no?
Yeah, it's your champagne
If
bottle.
that's your champagne bottle. I will tell you this:
You're sitting back ready to pop one open. You're just waiting for the dominoes to fall.
we were in Columbus for a spring tour last year, right?
It would be Ryan Day.
Yeah.
All right.
Who would be your next champagne bottle?
Yeah, because Ohio State's like it's your guys' moral enemy number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would be your second champagne bottle?
Person or team or
Well,
Let's say
however
person.
Let's do person.
that's got to be up there. That would make things easier. I mean, I'm not a fan of Michigan State, and that's not a person, but I got nothing against Jonathan Smith. He's their new head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Mel Tucker. Before that, it was Mark D'Antonio.
D'Antonio was a dog. He did a great job
He
developing
was.
players.
I respect him.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No. I will tell you this. I hate Michigan State more than Ohio State.
I'm right there with you.
Are you really?
Yes.
Okay.
When you grow up in the state of Michigan, you're surrounded by Spartans,
Yeah.
not Buckeyes. So, like, nationally, the game, right? Obviously, that's the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you prepare for that game all year, no doubt. But, like, when it comes down to, like, this is personal, Michigan State.
It's for the state title.
Yeah.
All right. Tier talk. So tier talk is I'll explain it to you. So we go through our
Oh, I've
top
seen
three.
Tier Talk.
Okay, you've seen it?
Yeah.
So you're gonna start with your tier 3, then you go to your tier 2, then your tier 1. Our tier talk today is best spies, not best buys or best spice. Best spies. So I'm ready to go.
Do we have a God tier?
Do you want to say on 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. James
Conor
Bond.
Stalions.
Okay. Conor Stalions will be our God tier.
Okay.
All right. So Conor is our God tier spy. I'm ready.
It can be a
Mhm.
movie character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go first. My tier 3 is going to be Sterling Archer from the show Archer. I think he's an alcoholic, but he always finds a way to get the job done. I think that show is incredibly well done. I love the show. He is a fantastic spy. My tier 2 is going to be Jason Bourne. Jason
Great
Bourne.
spy.
There's been
Great spy.
there's
Tremendous.
been a argument on this bus for a long time. Who would win a fight, Jason Bourne or John Wick? After rewatching the Jason Bournes, it's clear as day. This guy just stays one step ahead of everybody. Now it'd be very interesting to see, based on how technology has advanced since his movies came out. They're no longer doing flip phones. If he would be able to keep the pace, but he's my tier 2, and my tier 1, who would have been my God tier, given that everybody else felt the same way, is going to be James Bond. I think James Bond is the OG. I love the fact that every 10 years or so, they just recycle the storylines, new James Bond, everything. It is just, it's all fucking time. It's all time. So that is my tier talk. Boys in the back, bless you.
Sneaky.
All hyphenated. Get some rest, Pam. You look tired.
Decent.
Fuck you, Jack.
Technical.
Military.
Solid.
You need one word to
Yeah.
describe how I did.
I'm also trying to think of my 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
Elite.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. We got there.
I mean, because two of my 3 are on there.
There you go. I see. Sterling Archer, though. Love that show.
My tier 3 is going to be Kim Possible. globally fighting crime. Do what? Seems like she's got a great personality. My tier 2 is going to be Harry Hart, the Kingsman, special agent,
Good pull. Good pull.
mentor to Gary Eggsy Unwin. And my tier 1, sneaky, is going to be the scout piece in the board game Stratego. You're able to manipulate this piece around, and when it gets exposed, it's ultimately like you're trying to smoke out other pieces on the board. And I love Stratego growing up, one-on-one, just a chess match where you're trying to protect your flag, kind of like capture the flag. You can place bombs around it. And there are ranks from like 1 all the way to maybe 10, maybe 8. But then there's a scout piece that can kind of move around, maneuver around that you want to smoke out. And I'm going to go with the scout piece.
Hyphenated front runner.
Front runner.
Almost.
Dun 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 dun.
Hyphenated first half team.
I'll let you get your head first.
Hyphenated lost me.
Nerd.
Whatever. Bitches.
Bitches.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You're up.
I'm gonna go number 3, Spy Kids.
Okay.
I was checking them out.
Yep. You know, it's got to be the first spy movie I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got to go with James Bond. And number 1, Bourne.
Like Bourne.
Yep.
You like Bourne over Wick.
Yes.
That's all I need to hear.
Gay.
Oh yeah. Inspector Gadget.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
There's a lot out there though.
There
Yeah.
is.
Well, the best ones you can't talk about.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ever been to the Spy Museum?
no.
We did. I have been in the Spy Museum.
Well played. And thanks for coming.
My one word, manifesto.
Detailed.
Pro.
Glaze.
Calculative.
Classic.
Classics.
Hyphenated all business.
Boys, let's give a round of applause for Conor Stalions. Literally contacted you Friday. You're here on Monday. I really appreciate you coming in, the insight, everything. It has been literally swept the nation. All the things that happened to come out of that manifesto of yours. We appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us.
Yes, sir.
And this is your first like long form interview since all of it, right?
Besides the
Since
documentary.
Besides my 9-hour master interview for the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I enjoyed every minute.
Oh yeah.
I would
Appreciate you
have
guys.
enjoyed being in the trenches with you and playing for you. I would have loved every fucking minute of it.
Will Compton's
Can
the
you,
slot
do
receiver.
you
He'll
have?
play
I
offensive
was going
line.
to say,
Oh,
do
he
you
would have
high
had me
school
pretty much like,
eligibility?
yes, sir, coach.
Yeah, I need
But
you to do
also,
this.
I know you want to give me the ball.
Well, maybe we can pull the guard and hand it off to him.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Southeastern, watch out.
Southeastern, watch out. All right, boys. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars. Thank you so much for everything. Talk to you soon.
Hey, that was incredible.
Awesome, dude. You were awesome.
That was incredible.
You think that's one of the